right, test. Let me see. I'm gonna wait for a little bit here to see if anybody's joining before I actually start, because I don't see anybody here yet. And I need someone to tell me that this is working. I hope this is working. Current 2 viewers. Hey, whoever's watching right now, can you guys tell me if you can hear me? Test. I'm just asking some friends here who I think are logged on. Live chat. Go live. Hello, testing. Looks like I can see my mouse. Okay, I got stuff working here. Is this working? Test. Oh shoot. Oh shoot, did I have the wrong? Damn it. Okay, this link's live. Let's see. Damn it. Okay, good. Andrew just says good. We're good to go. Okay, this link's live. Hold on, I got some people saying that I think I sent the wrong link. Hold on here. I've not done this in ages. Damn it. It's not. Okay, good. Andrew just says good. We're good to go. Let me see here. Try this link. That should do it. Okay, this link's live. Hold on, I got some people saying that I think I sent the wrong link. Hold on here. I've not done this in ages. Damn it. It's not. Okay, good. Andrew just says good. We're good to go. Let me see here. Try. Okay, I gotta shut down that feed there. It looks like we are good to go. I hope we've got one viewer. You can hear me fine. Awesome. Okay. I hope. Okay, I hope this is the right one for everyone, because right now I've got like 2 viewers. Okay, good. So let me just let's just wait for another minute or two, because I know there's quite a few other people that wanted to join this, and just make sure everything's working. I'm using OBS Studio, so I've got it on this other monitor, so I'm making sure that all that stuff is being started. We're doing the recording there, and hopefully this will all be good. We've got 1 viewer. All right, cool. Andrew, looks like you're still my 1 single viewer, according to this analytics. Okay, cool. Jordan over at Vizcom just posted on their feed as well. Let's see if we're gonna get anything going here. I hope this works. Yeah, okay, cool. That link's working, so... Okay, the link is working. We are good. I see Andrew in the chat, and I've seen people posting. But right now, I just feel like I don't want to start yet because it's like there's only one person watching. Andrew, you're my only viewer right now. All right, I guess I should just start talking, and then I will see if people have questions. Man, I had this whole thing planned out too, and I feel like I'm just like broadcasting to one person. Damn it. I guess people can rewatch it too. So, okay, now cool. And I've got some more people joining. Thank you for coming to this. Let's let a couple more people join. Let's see here. Just make sure everything's working here. I'm actually I'm running this off of my new Sense Labs 24 display. So I have this, it's not my main monitor right now, it's on my Ergotron arm off to the right. So I'm kind of using this with my keyboard over to the left. So just bear with me here while I'm doing this. And like I said, this is my first live stream in forever. So for those of you who are not familiar with what Vizcom is, this is a really cool AI app that was originally designed to help concept artists render their sketches and line drawings. And it first came on my radar probably like a year and a half ago. I was invited to the early beta, but I didn't really know too much about it. I tried it out, and you know, it just wasn't anywhere near where I was going to be able to use it yet. And then let's see, like mid last year, I started using Midjourney for a little bit, and that was kind of a interesting experiment for me. Anybody who's followed me on my socials knows that I had some pretty interesting responses to people claiming that they, quote, created this from scratch, which they didn't. It was basically learning how to prompt. And I was excited for it for a little bit, but then I got really bored quickly because all it was is just like rehashing the same old crap over and over again. And there's like no way to control it, no way to like use any of my original artwork. The whole idea about this is like, I don't need the AI to create for me. Thank you very much. But I would love to use the AI as an assist in ideation. That's the whole key there, as an assistant, as a tool. I don't need a replacement to creation. So fast forward to just like 2 months ago, and I'm kind of like wrapping up this other job, so I hadn't had that much free time. But I started seeing a couple of my peers on Instagram posting some amazing results. I'm like, what is, this is Vizcom? It's like matured quite a bit. So of course I had to take a look and jump in. And man, I tell you, I was blown away. I was like, this is the way. This is kind of how a lot of us concept artists and people who like are creating and have their own original stuff can start to ideate. And I'm just gonna scroll through here and just give you guys a little bit of an overview of like what I've been doing over the past 2 months, on and off. Like when I first jumped in, like my very first one was like this very simple sketch here, and this is free to join, by the way, so I encourage you all to check it out. Free to join up. You get like one solve per iteration, versus if you get the enterprise version, you have to pay for that, and then you get like 4 solves. But other than that, I think that's the only difference. So what we're seeing here is I actually had done the sketch on the iPad, but then this one I think I did purely in the interface to test out the interface drawing capabilities. So I'm sorry, this was the original iPad sketch, and then I brought it in, and this was my very first results. And I think I can't remember what this usually says what the prompt was, but I can't read it because it's ... But I think it was like eyeball robot holding a eyeball balloon robot or something like that. And what it does is, you can see it just kind of tries to put some rendering to the line art. And also the big thing here is that it's respecting the drawing. So you can say, I want to have 100% influence weight on the drawing. And I'll go ahead and show you guys how to do all this in a second. I just want to show you some of these different results. So this is the very first stuff here that I'm working on. Just the very first 10 minutes of just fooling around with it and trying to see like what can I get. Just really crazy stuff. So that's like very basic. And if I go back to my files, you can see how over the last 2 months, my knowledge has kind of grown on how to use the app, and I've gotten some amazingly crazy results from this. I think probably one of the most successful ones was this robot that I had done. It was a version of my SketchBot, and I started using this as a test bed. So I used this as just importing a render, and then just using this as the base. So it knows that there's already some volume and some lighting and some shading here, and then from there you can go in and start iterating. So let me click on this. I have it. So by the way, this just was released today. They have a new feature now where you can now click and hold on your layers and drag down, and just like in Photoshop, you can reveal your layers. So before, like every time I was showing people this, it took me like forever to go through and turn off and turn on all these layers. But right now, this literally just went live today. So I was watched the live stream this morning, and that was the new one of the new things that they announced. So I was like, oh, this is awesome. So it's really easy to kind of go through here now and just turn off all this. I'm just trying to go down here and pop all these off. But what I'm going to do in this talk, I'm going to try to talk for, we'll do like an hour, maybe an hour 15. I don't really have anything to do today, so I'm happy to stay on as long as people have questions. But as you can see here, man, I went down the rabbit hole of ideation. So I'm going to go through here and just kind of try to show you how this started from the beginning. And you know what? I just accidentally clicked. There we go. Again, bear with me here because I'm using my tablet display, which wasn't set up to be my main monitor for right now. But I just want to show you guys one of the first results that I kind of did where I was like going crazy with this particular source image. And I should have had this one prepped to go, but I just decided to show it to you off the bat. So let's go to the very beginning. And okay, cool, here we go. So the first thing I did was import the image, and I just ran through a render, and this was a very simple prompt. This was basically like eyeball robot, comma, Tron Legacy, comma, glowing. And this is what I got from it. And I was like, what? And I was like, so before and after, you can see where it's like 100% influence on the drawing. And it kind of goes through, and it's like not doing a filter. It's basically going through and finding some images that are related to Tron, and it kind of like trying to fit into what I've got here. So you can see it typically has problems with hands and feet still, especially on robots, because it doesn't really know what robot hands and feet look like. But I was pretty impressed that it was able to keep the silhouette down here and the lighting. I was like, wow, this is really kind of like blowing my mind, just this one result. And then I kept on iterating. So then what I started doing is I started taking the refinement value down and start saying, okay, now let it go through and start doing some of its own, adding some of its own learning to the iterations. And this is where you start getting some of these really cool results. So from this to this, you can see how it starts adding in some of these little greeblies and how is it, determining what's a bolt, what's a joint, but it's still respecting the original drawing. And then you keep on going from there. You can keep on refining from there. This was then what I did at one point is I didn't like how these fingers were sticking out, so I went ahead and you can add a blank layer and you can draw. So I just added a blank layer and kind of drew in like a little cap here for these thumbs. And then as I continue to refine that, you can see how it then kind of goes through. And so you can in this sense you can then guide the solves really easily, and then you're off to the races. So then it's just kind of going through and trying different things. Then I'm going through here. I'm like re-rendering using a different render model, and I will go through all this live in a second. I just want to show you guys all the different variations. So for this one here, you can just see that it's just going crazy with like amazing results, still retaining the original idea. Now this one here, I pushed this one a little bit differently when I did the next render, and I can't remember what I did this one like a month and a half ago. I can't remember what the exact settings were, but on this one I think I did a new render, and it just re-renders based on that solve. So I wasn't going back to the original, but I was trying to see what I could just keep on iterating down the road with, and then I got these really cool organic shapes in here, and like this was like an egg yolk to me, and I was like just gonna go with that, and then I just kind of kept on iterating with that one. So these were really fun to play with. This particular image was my test model for a few days in a row. This one here, I think I started introducing Star Wars in just to see if I can get some of that design language from Star Wars in there. That was another Tron one. Again, keep on going here. I'm not really, and I'm not even guiding color choices right now. The colors were introduced because I'm using the Vizcom 6 render mode. And I'll show all you guys how those work in a second. So, you know, again, I'm just going through this. I had probably 100 iterations here. One thing I should note, and I'll show you how to do this as well, is the cool thing about this is you can actually export a layered Photoshop file. And when you do that, I can then bring this into something like Premiere and create those time lapses that I was doing. So I'll show you guys how we did that in the end as well. So enough talk. Let's just do a new one. So I'm just gonna do one from scratch. I'm gonna do three different versions from scratch. I'm gonna do a drawing from scratch. I'm gonna show you how to use a 3D image, and also you can import a 3D model as your base. So let's just go back to files, and we're gonna just create a new one. And I'm just gonna make it a square, and we hit create. You can also import an image if you want. So now I have a blank canvas, and I'm just gonna draw in here. And let's just draw. And here's another tip. You can do this from your iPad Pro. I've been doing a lot of stuff sitting on the couch late at night where I'm just dive down and start drawing on the iPad, and it works great. The press sensitivity works, and everything is there, pinch to zoom and all that kind of stuff. So it works great through a web browser as well. But you can go through here, and these are all kind of keyboard shortcuts as well. So I can go through and hit B for brush, and E for eraser, and L for line, and whatnot. So you have a couple tools here that they give you to draw. So if you want to do that, you can do that as well. So just to show, I used to do this a couple of times to show people how easy it is just to go in here and draw. I can go in here and let's see, this brush size is a little bit thick for me, so I just hit undo here, or you can hit Control Z. So I'll take this brush size down just a little bit more. And one of the things I thought was fun when I was doing these, I was doing simple car drawings. So again, just blocking this out, and it doesn't have to be clean, right? So I know a lot of the concept artists were doing these really cool sweeping, sweeping shapes and get some really cool things here. For me, I'm just gonna do this really kind of cartoony, boxy shape, right? And I'm just gonna be kind of a little sloppy here to show you how this works. Go through and create some wheel wells. Again, just really sloppily drawn. Go into the erasure mode. We'll just kind of erase some of the stuff here, clean this up. Go back to the brush. And again, I'm just kind of consciously making this look crappy. And we'll go ahead and just add a little indication of a window here. And I'm not going to make this translucent. I'll just do something like that. All right. Make a little indication of a fender. All right. Whoops, I didn't want to do that. Why did that come on? Because I hit it accidentally. Okay. So now the first thing you need to do is you need to do a render. So what we're going to do here is under the render, you have to do a prompt. So we'll just say something like cartoon vehicle, and I'll say by Mercedes. And then we'll come over here, and you have a couple different styles to choose from. We'll do the Vizcom journal at first. And if you click on these, you'll get an indication of what they do. And what I wanted to do is drawing influence is 100%. And we'll hit generate and give it a couple seconds, and we'll see what we get. And there we go. So we get this kind of like droopy looking render, but it's a start. It's something that it went through, and I can say confirm or cancel this. Or you can say save it as a layer and try another one. I'm just gonna say confirm just to kind of add it to the layer stack. And if I go over here to layers on the upper right, you can see that now I have a layer stack, and here's the before and after. So you can see how close it's retaining that, but also it's adding things like the little Mercedes emblem, because I used the word Mercedes. If I use Volkswagen, it would have done the same thing, or Audi or BMW, it would have done the same thing. So now I've got to start. I've got something with some shading on it, with some shadows, and now I can just start refining this version if I wanted to. Let's try that. So let's go back over here to the creation tab, and now this is where it gets really fun. If you go to the refine tab, and then this is where if you kept it at 100%, it's not going to do anything, because it's just going to say I'm going to try to refine this, but there's really nothing to refine because it's 100%. Where it starts getting interesting is you got to take it down to a 50% or lower. So we'll just take it down to 50%. We'll keep the same prompt, and we'll hit generate again. And again, this is pretty quick. It only takes a couple seconds. And now we've got a little more detail, and you can hide the original and go back and forth so you can kind of see your before and after. We'll say confirm. And now, just if I want to move forward with this, say, okay, you know what? This is kind of cool. It has like a white wall effect here, but let me kind of clean up some of this detail and do before I do the next refine. No problem. I can either draw right on this image, or if I want to preserve that, whoops, I can either go back to the layers and we'll just add a new layer. And now, if I'm already in the draw the brush, but if I hit the Alt on the keypad and I can like do a color pick, and I can just kind of draw here, and let's kind of like fit this up. If I use also the brackets, will give me a larger and smaller brush size. So let's say we want to just kind of like maybe alter this a little bit. And I don't want to have that rearview mirror in the right way, so I'll do this. And you know what? This is kind of a little distracting. Let's paint this out. Just kind of guide it a little bit here. Let's kind of clean that edge up a little bit. And let's see what else I got here. That's fine. Let's just go with that for right now. So now I've just kind of added a couple little changes to kind of guide it here. Now let's go back and regenerate that. All right, so now we've got some more results here. Now, let's say we want to go back one. I'll just hit add as a layer, so it won't save it, but I'll hit cancel. So I'm back to this one. Let's take this drawing influence up a little higher. So let's say like 80%, and we'll see how it will clean this up. And what you'll find is it's a combination of back and forth. It's a combination of, you know, how much you want to let the AI kind of throw stuff at you versus how much you want to kind of clean it up. So this one here, see how it's it got a little tighter with that guide, but it's not too sloppy yet. So let's say we'll confirm that. So that's basically how you kind of go down this path. So right now, when I did the Vizcom render, it just did over like kind of a gray background. If I want to go back and re-render now, re-render this version, I've been really enjoying this Technicolor 6, which is a different rendering model. And one of my first early requests was, how cool would it be for us to create our own rendering models based on our own artwork? And that's something that they are working on, where we can actually create our own, you know, give it our own design language and our own like color palettes and things like that to kind of influence the rendering. So right now, this one we'll keep it 100%. I'm just going to redo a new render based on this solve. And this one typically has a lot of nice like orange, reds, yellow, blacks color palettes that I kind of enjoy. Part of me is like, like which concept artists were they using to create this training model? Like I have to wonder, because I always get this kind of similar results. Part of me is like wondering, is this like somebody's design language or, you know, color palette that's always being used, or is it truly being trained on that? I don't know, but I've been told that it's using royalty-free stock imagery sets. So I would just like to know a little bit more about how some of these rendering models were created, and once we have the ability to create our own, then I'm going to be really confident about it's all, you know, all coming from you, the original creator, 100%. But still, here I am, you know, we can go back to this drawing, and we can see how from here to here, I've still got that initial shape, right? But I'm kind of going through and cleaning it, and I can go in and I can go in now and iterate on top of this. So say, for instance, I want to maybe add wings to this, right? So let's go back to our layer stack here, and I'm going to add a new layer. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make some wings, and I'm going to make them like let's see, I'm going to do like, you know, yellow orange wings, and we'll add them to like here. And maybe we'll do something up here and see what I get. So let's see if I can guide it. And then what I'll do for here is, let's say cartoon vehicle. I'm going to take off the Mercedes and see. Maybe I'll say like flying cartoon vehicle and see what that gives me. And then we'll do a refine. We don't want to re-render, we want to do refine. And then let's take this down to about 50%. We'll see what this does. Interesting. Okay, cool. So I'm getting some interesting. This kind of turned into almost like a rudder. That's kind of cool. Let's go back and forth before and after. So you can see how it's had a lot more color information on the background image now. So it started like kind of like feeling like, okay, this looks like a sidewalk, and like what is this blob and what does this blob represent? Well, it looks like they're gonna, like, you know, put plants in there with some dirt. And then you just keep on going crazy with it. So let's take it down. I'll show you what if you take it down way too low. Like if I go like 10%, it's probably gonna freak out, and I'm probably gonna get something I don't like at all. And sometimes it'll introduce like, I found out that sometimes it introduces like figures into the car or figure walking around. This is pretty cool. Look at this. So again, it's using the same. It's like this got the same perspective, the same drawing angle that I did, but it's like it's totally revamped it into something that's like, what is it grabbing from? It's like it's pretty amazing how it is able to kind of keep certain elements, but lose others. Now there's ways to do infill painting to protect things, but yeah, it's just amazing that we have this kind of like new way of ideating right now using this AI model. And what I've heard is it's using ControlNet, which is, I don't know that much about it, but it's something where it respects the source image more closely. Let's not keep this one. Let's oh wait, I'm sorry, I just lost my train of thought there. I did not let's take this back up and see if I screwed that up. Okay, looks like oh yeah, okay, that was the one I did before. Okay, cool. So again, you can see here, that's interesting how it's changing up this logo here. It's still kind of using the Mercedes logo. Let's hit confirm. Now, say I want to change this from a Mercedes to a BMW. I'm going to go ahead here, and I'm just going to paint out the Mercedes logo. One of my requests is that they employ a smudge tool, because I think it'd be easier to like lightly mush out areas. Let's get rid of this logo as well. So say like what I'm doing, so I have a gradient here that I have to paint out, but it would be like I can set like a transparency value in the brush, but it'd be easier if they had like a smudge tool in here to quickly just blend this. You can take these images also. I could export it anytime to Photoshop, clean it up there, which I've done a couple times, and then re-import it. But for this demo, I just wanted to kind of try to keep it quick. And I'm just going through and like cleaning up little things. Like I don't want this little black dot right here to maybe look like turn into a bolt. So I'm just gonna color that solid, and maybe color this one solid. And then let's say cartoon flying vehicle, and we'll say by BMW. And then we'll see what we get this time. Sorry, I'm awkwardly looking at my keyboard from another angle here. So you can see we got the placement of the BMW logo, a little bit of indication of the kidneys where they usually are on the front grille. Let's see what we got here before and after. Interesting. It still retain that shape. Let's drop it down maybe like 40%. Do it one more time. That's cool. So there we got the kidneys going. We've got the emblem, and it's pretty cool. This is sort of kind of lost the idea of a rudder or a tail fin, and I'm not digging how this became such a long cloth. But you know what? Look at how tight the wheels are getting here. And again, this is only a couple solves, so you can see how many solves I've done here. Probably like what, 12 so far. Now let's also try something else. Let's try. We can try introducing some color. So let me say, I just learned this other day too, how to influence color a little bit better. So you put in parentheses. Wait, where's my parentheses at? And I'm sorry, I can't. I'm just having a little bit of a brain fart right now. Okay, so you can say color, semicolon, and then like we'll say like blue. Oh shoot, I forgot how to do this. Oh wait, color, blue, and then like a level. So I think 2, you don't want to go over 2. I think that's how you do it. And then we can try to turn on that. If this is in the docs, I had to look it up again. But there's a way you can start introducing color. There we go. So you can start seeing the blue starting to take effect, right? And we'll hit confirm. And if I took it up to 3, anything over 2, it'll freak out. Just to show you how it freaks it out, watch this. Take it to 3 and rerun it. It's gonna put some weird pattern in this whole thing. It's gonna screw up everything. I don't know what it's doing, but it's just doing some crazy calculations right now. So we'll just hit cancel. Let's take this back down to 2. I've heard that 2, you don't want to go over 2. So like you can do like 1.8 or something like that. 1.9. Let's try it again. So there's a little bit more blue being introduced. And again, let's start guiding it. Like, I don't like how this cloth has gotten so long, this tarp. So I can either draw a new layer, or you know what, just screw it. Let's just draw right on this layer. So we're gonna go here. I'm just gonna pick some of that blue. I'll pick some of that blue. And I find myself doing a lot of this, like if I want to maybe like change the silhouette, I'll kind of go through and repaint the background a little bit. And maybe let's get rid of this line down the road here. Just kind of like. So this is where I want that smudge tool to kind of go through and blend a little bit. Just kind of break it up a little bit. Break this up. Not digging this right here. I don't know what's going on here. It's clean that up. Let's get rid of that. You know, you can kind of go through and selectively. I found that, like, you know, when you're getting closer to finer, smaller increment of refinements, it really helps to kind of do these little cleanups along the way. And let's do this. Let's get rid of this altogether. Let's just get rid of it, and let's move forward without that tail. No problem. Let's just paint it out. So paint it out. And I know that I should be showing more of this in painting, but I'm kind of lazy and I don't like to do the in painting. To me, I would rather have it where I can like say don't affect this area, but you have to kind of click everything else, and then it's kind of an awkward masking solution. I kind of wish it was a little bit differently, but I think, you know, once they get this more developed, it'll clean up a little bit better. I'm just going to remove some of these little details here, and like let's see how it goes the next iteration, and we'll take it back up to 50. Let's go with 55. There we go. Look at that. So I just kind of cleaned up a little bit. I can still continue on that one. Let's actually just get rid of it altogether. So let's go in here and we'll just paint this out. I want to keep an indication of a beam there and see if I can maybe resolve that. Again, I'm just quickly goofing around here to see what I can get. All right, let's see what we get with this resolve. It's kind of looking like a golf cart a little bit. Shouldn't seem bad. We lost that beam, but now let's try redrawing it in again with maybe like this value here. So we can just draw this in. This is where I wish I had a little better granular control of the paintbrush, but we'll just try that. We'll see what we get with this one. There we go. We started. It didn't do the color, but we did kind of get an indication of a rail, and you can kind of continue on there. But you know, you can kind of see how you can start guiding it. You know, you just kind of keep on taking it down. And I think there's ways like you can say, okay, well let's try the infill. Let's say we're gonna in paint. You can do the whole thing. You can do like, say we'll do like this part. I don't know, let's say we're just gonna change this color, and now we'll go in and say, let's see if this even works. I'll go like pink. And then we'll do 55 on that. There you go. So you can kind of see some pink is being introduced into there now. We'll hit confirm. And let's do it again. And now I'm only influencing that area. There you go. Cool. So we'll hit confirm on this. Let me, I don't know how to turn off the, I think I should go back to brush. It turns off the infill. So we go back to our layers. You can see how we went from blue to pink. So, you know, right there you can kind of go in and control colors that way. It did still do a little bit of change on the silhouette of the car, you can see. But let's, I'm just curious. Let's hide all these and go back. What I find I was doing too is, because I start getting like, I start going down the rabbit hole. I get like, you know, 20, 30 images. I'm like, ugh, I gotta go back to the beginning. So if we go back to the original drawing, I'm just gonna take this because it brings it in as a transparency. I'm just gonna merge it down so it's over this background. I'm gonna duplicate it. You can either move it to the top, or I usually just save it as the base and say duplicate, and then move this one to the top. Sometimes in the interface, it would pop it to the top if I wasn't selected on it. So that way I can kind of go through now and look at the original. You can actually go in here and take your slider down. Why is that not? That's weird. So I do multiply. Interesting. I wonder if that broke. That's not. It used to work fine. I wonder if that's something is. Oh wait, because I didn't have it because I had to turn it off. Duh. There we go. So I can kind of see the before and after, and you can also use this to affect the next refinement. So there you go, from drawing to an image. It's that simple. I mean, you could just draw it in. It doesn't have to be a perfect drawing at all. What it has to do though is you just have to be able to do a render from it to get some volume data. Let's do another one. Let's try really quickly. We'll keep this one, right? And let's try doing a different render so I can show you the different renders. So the click off on this. Come on. Make it off. Oh, there we go. Okay. So now with this drawing, we'll go back over to create, but we'll go back to the render mode, and this time we will say volume render, and I'll show you what this one does. And we'll just keep these same prompts in here. I don't know if this one will add color or not. I think it was just a grayscale value, but I have never tried it with color before, so we'll see if it... Nope, it does add a color. Cool. So there we go. There's the before and after on that one. And you can see how, you know, my tires are kind of already cartoony because they're not drawn perspectively correct, but they are kind of like, look like inflatable balloons, which reminds me, let's check out this idea. So let's try doing balloon. And we will refine that, and we'll take it down like 45. I had some interesting results in like balloon inflatables, jelly. Look at that. So I'm getting some cool, fun little shapes with that. And because I took it down below 50%, I'm already trying to introduce some more, you know, details. Like, you know, how did it know to put a fender in there? Well, I think because it's a car, it kind of like assumes, okay, well, it's a car, it should have a fender. You know, I didn't have a fender drawing in there, but I had one in the back, and it sort of put something there, but it didn't put it as prominent as it did in the front. Again, it's just interesting. I wish I knew more about how the learning module is working on this, but it's fascinating. So let's save that, but let's kind of clean up a little bit. So again, I'm gonna go back into my brush here. Let's just clean up a couple of these little areas because I'm kind of like digging this right here. Whoops. Let's get rid of this. Let's see. That's interesting. I'll keep that blue in there, but let's clean up this top a little bit and see what we get. I'm just trying to see if I can guide this a little bit and get rid of this little weirdness, and I don't want this indication of a steering wheel yet. Let's just see if I can clean that up. And I'm just painting this right on top of it. All right, let's do it again. I've got by BMW in there, so I'll probably add the BMW. It's not yet, but interesting. Let's confirm. Let's clean up this this bumper here. I'm gonna get rid of this right now just to kind of clean that up. This is kind of weird. Let's get rid of that. It's starting to look like candy. Actually, I started doing food with these too. Let's see if I go find balloon flying cartoon vehicle. What if I say balloon candy? And then let's get rid of flying. And let's get rid of cartoon. And let's just say car. Candy car. There you go. I kind of like how smooth some of this was, and I'm losing a little bit of it because it's getting more detail in here, but it's kind of fun to see. Let's take this one another step to see if that balloon and candy influence kick in a little bit more. It's interesting how it kind of started adding this cool detail there, and it added chrome to that. Interesting. Okay, just for like wrapping this particular stage up, let's say we want to refine this one a little bit more. So we'll continue on here. I'll just keep on taking the refinement up. And I usually go through like incrementally. So like if we go to 60%, that's interesting. It added this white on the tires, which I kind of like. We'll confirm that. But you know what it did do, is which I didn't like, was it kind of changed this to cloth, which I'm not a big fan of. I kind of wanted to keep... This is where I wish we had an easy way to cut and paste from the previous layer on top of the current layer. Because I would like to say, just grab this piece and copy and paste it onto a new layer. There's not a way to do that right now. I'd have to like export this out to Photoshop, copy it, bring it in as a separate layer, paste it in, and then go from there. But I don't want to do that because I'm too lazy. I just want to do it all in the interface. Also, I'm getting some weirdness with this fender. Let's go ahead and paint that out. I don't like this anymore. Let's get rid of that. And let's get rid of that. And let's try doing another. Whoops, I don't start. I don't want to do that just yet. Let's go back to create, generate, and we're going to keep it at 60% because I don't want to go down too low. All right, let's just continue with this one. We'll just take it up. I just want to show you how when you take up the drawing influence to higher, it's kind of trying to keep it pretty close now to what we've got, and it's kind of going through and cleaning it up. I usually find that anything over 90 doesn't really make a difference. I'm going to continue. If I go up to 95, we'll probably see a little bit of change, but then if you keep on iterating at 90 and up, it doesn't. It's just kind of just rehashing it. Like right there, you can barely see a change. It's sort of starting to kind of clean it, tighten it up, but at this point, I'm like, I call this one done as an ideation concept. I can call this one done and move on. So that was fun. Let's we're going to save this one because I'll use this file down the road. We're going to export this, so I'll show you how I do those time-lapse videos. So right now, we'll save this as a layered PSD file. And I've got my live stream already set there, so we'll call this, pink cartoon car, just to have this. I can show you guys, I guess you want to see it now or you want to see it after how I create the time lapses. This is where audience participation, someone go in the chat and say if they want to see me create the time lapse now or save it for later. If not, I'll just save it for later. So I only have 5 viewers, I guess, right now. Okay, let's just move on. So the next cool thing is using a 3D image. And I've done it 2 different ways where I've actually... oh, now, Andrew says now. Okay. All right, I'll do it now. Now, go. Got it. Okay, cool. Let's go back to files. We'll save this for now. Okay, so here's what I do with to create the time lapses. So the first thing I do is go into Photoshop, and we will open up that image. Open. I should have all this pointed to that Vizcom live stream folder, and here's the pink cartoon car layered Photoshop file. Okay, what is that? What did I just do there? I just accidentally. Come on. Sorry, let's close these old ones down. I was going to show some of those. Sorry, reopen that one. Sorry about that. I'm still getting used to this. Okay, so here's the layered Photoshop file. And I do a little bit of editing. So what I'll do is I'll go through and I'll look at all these and go, okay, I'm digging all these here. And then this is where I put the new drawing up there. But let's go down here. I can see where I have a layer, where I did set a layer. It's going to show up weird in the playback. So I'm just going to go ahead and merge this one down. Control E of that, and then we'll go through here. And then again, this was the that was the paint over. But you know what? I'm just going to crunch that one down to the layer below it, and then we've got our base layer. Okay, cool. So with all these selected, now that I have that, I will go in. This is the trick I had to figure out because at one point I was trying to do. It wasn't doing the image sequence in the order that I wanted, so I had to export these out and then bring it into Premiere. So what I do is I basically go through and grab them all, and then right-click and say Quick Export as PNG, and we're going to save it in that same folder. And I'm just going to make a new folder and call this. We'll just call this images for now, and I'll save what's up on as sequence. And if this is going to save out, you'll see it's you can see the icon changing there. It's actually spitting out all those images. Just go pretty quickly here. Okay, done. Then what I'll do is I go into Adobe Bridge, and I've got the directory already loaded here. I'll go into the images that we just spit out, and I have it. Oops. Sorry, I'm just clicking too fast. Let's go back to Bridge. I have it set to date modified. So I already know that the background was the first one, and I'm looking down, and it's in the order that I want. So then what I do is I select all here, right click, and we go rename, batch rename, and I'm going to go, let's batch rename this in a new folder. We'll do it in that same folder, but we'll make a new folder called image sequence. Pop it in there. And then I'll just basically change this here. We'll call this pink. Make sure we set this to 1 or 0, doesn't matter. Oh, by the way, I put the dot in here, so you see that the preview name now is going to be pinkcard.001.png. That's how Premiere is going to recognize a image sequence. Rename that. Okay, it's done. If I go to the image sequence, you'll see we've now got 1 through what we got. Now, come over to Premiere, which I already have open to save time, and we will go Control I to import, and we go to Vizcom, live stream, image sequences, click on this, make sure image sequence is selected, and then I can just drag and drop this into my timeline. And if I just hit play right now, you'll see it's really fast. It's like not even like just like a second and 6 frames. So what we want to do is we want to do a quick little time remap on this. So I right click on the track, we go to speed duration, and I usually like to set it to like 25% to make it 4 times smaller, slower, and then I'll change it to frame blending. Here's the trick that I had to find this in an obscure YouTube video. So that stretched it out, but if I just hit play right now, it's snapping between them. So while this is selected, you have to go under sequence, render selection, and what this does, it's actually rendering it out with that frame blending. That's where you get the cool warp. I'm sorry, you get the cool blend transition, so that's not as harsh. And that's basically how you do it. And then I just like export that out as a image sequence, and I can post these to Instagram or wherever. So we'll save this one in the live stream. Keep it called Pink Car. And then for this one, I think I had to go into the video and change. Yeah, we want to change the frame size to custom, and then we just take this to like 1080. Then we can export. There we go. And then if we go to our, I think I have that. I have a window on my other monitor. Bring this over here. Go to our live stream folder, and there is Pink Car. And of course it pops up on my other monitor. Let me drag it over here. And there is the movie. So that's how easy it is to create those time lapses. And I find them, they're a good way to record, to like visually look at them, and you know, instead of having to open up the file, I can like have a nice little video recording of how I did that. But I mean, these are pretty cool. So let's do a hold on here. Sorry, let's do a new one based on an existing model. And what I'm going to show you this time is I'm going to show you how I did it with we can load up a 3D model. So we'll do a new file. Let's keep it square for now. And this time we can go up here to import a file. And I'm sorry, did I do this wrong? I have to go to, where is it at? It's been a while since I did this one. Import file. Hold on. Can I grab this car? What happened to the menu where I can create? Oh, right here. Sorry, add 3D layer. They should change. They should add that to the import file. I forgot that was over here. So if I go to this under the layer stack, add 3D objects. So now I have a couple that are already you can see they actually include some defaults uh, with the app, but I had a couple that I created. So let's upload a model. We'll upload the this one. This actually was just a very down and dirty quick model I did in a Nomad Sculpt on the iPad, and it's loading it up. I believe you can see it's doing something here, and once it's done, oh shoot, darn it! Why can't I was able to get this one imported before. What the hell? Let's try. You know what? I think I had it. Maybe I had a different material line or something. I did one from the Cartoon Tank. Let me see if I go to Cartoon Tank. Let's try. Was it? Oh, it's in Maya data, or maybe not. What did I say this out as? Let's try that one. I confess I haven't imported a 3D model in a couple weeks, so I think I don't know if I forgot that I may have had to change them. Yeah, I might have had to change. Maybe something's up with that data. Well, shoot. Well, we can just go this. I'll just show you guys how you can upload your own models. I think I just had to go through and maybe make sure that it was all cleaned up properly. This was the sketchball model I did, but the cool thing is once you load it up, check this out. You can actually now go here and rotate your model. Zoom in and out. The one thing that it's only treating this as a 2D snapshot, though. It's not actually respecting actual volume, which I know it's going to get there down the road. Eventually, we'll see. It's going to know what a cylinder is, and it's going to know the orientation and the depth map and all that goodness. I think right now it's just going to do a quick grab, and just it has some line information on here, but we all know it's going to be a game changer once it can actually recognize true 3D volumes. And then from there, it's only a matter of, okay, do we do it can then render out, different views for us and do photogrammetry and create a 3D model from that, or maybe it can do something different where it's based on the volume. So, we all see the writing on the wall. I think it's going to be another good aid in helping us. But again, I still love to model, but if it can help me do some of the stuff a little bit quicker, I'm more interested in AI doing things like UV unwrapping and, optimizing, STL orientations and figuring out, how to get the best, the best supports for whatever, resin I'm using. Things like that is what I need it to do. I don't need it to, to take over and do all the creation for me. But as an assistant to help doing that kind of stuff, I'm all for it. So for example, this is what I think I had done a 3/4 angle for that one. Let's try a different let's try one from maybe here. Also, sometimes it depends on if you have too much occlusion on objects, it might not know how to differentiate between this hand and the leg. So sometimes I like to when I'm doing this character stuff, I kind of like to get a little bit of negative space and silhouette just so it kind of has something to recognize. If even this overlapping legs might kind of screw up a little bit. Let's just try to do something at a different angle, but let's try to do something like that, a little more dramatic angle, looking down on it. Okay, we'll say we'll use that. We'll just add that to the canvas. So now I've got an image that already has some volume metric, rendering and shading to it. I don't need to do a render. I can just go back. I can just go right now and just start refining. But there's no color in it yet. There's a little bit of. It looks like there might be a little bit of color, but I could either do a render of this one or not. So let's just try it and see what we get. I'll do it 2 different ways. Let's go in and do. I'll show you this one, the pastel render, and we'll just call this one again. I think I just did eyeball robot, and we'll hit create. And this is giving us kind of a nice pastel-y look. And there's no rhyme or reason on how I decided the colors. We're losing a couple little dimensional details in the eye, and I'm afraid that the hands are getting a little bit mushy. It doesn't know to keep the hands all the same color. This is interesting here how it kind of did add a little bit of extraness there under the torso, but let's just keep it. This one's gonna be kind of cool. This one has a nice pastel feel already. Let's try something like if we go to refine here. Let's say I learned this prompt watching someone else do it. If I could go translucent jelly, and we'll say robot. Look at that. That's pretty freaking cool. I mean, right there, it kind of just renders this out to look like, yeah, it's got some like, specular component, a little bit of translucency idea coming through there. But it did add a ton of new stuff right in here because I did take it down to 50%. So it's totally changing up how I did my joints. But you know what? I'm like, okay, that's interesting. It's kind of showing me, you know, some ideas for joints. And this is no different than if I'm already doing a concept for a client, I come up with basic stuff. And then it's like, yeah, I'm grabbing, Pinterest. I have like my wall of reference that I'm using to influence my ideation, but I'm not copying it to copy it. I might say, oh, I like what they're doing with that. Let me put my twist on it. That's kind of how where their human touch comes in. Like, you as a creator are playing the art director, and you're being discerning as how you want to kind of filter that information into your own design language. You're not just copying and pasting it, which sometimes I think with the I think a lot of people are like, who maybe don't have these skills for thinking like, oh yeah, I can do this too, and like I'm just gonna hit a couple prompts and hit create, but like you're not really creating. You're just like feeding it like dumb. It's like garbage in, garbage out. I feel like I can tell a lot of AI stuff just looks kind of like the same rehashed garbage. I think it's where it gets interesting is like when the artists who already have ideas and concepts that they are bringing to it. That's where we start using the AI to ideate and help us, iterate. That's to me where it gets exciting. Um, so for instance, this is kind of cool. I kind of like it. Let's save it, but let's save it as a layer. Let's try to go back now. Let's take it up a little bit higher. So I want to keep more of that drawing influence and then redo it and see what we get. Also, figure my rants because I like to rant a lot about. I have like a lot of big opinions about what I think AI is good for and it's not good for. Um, and I've actually butted heads with some of my peers, and it's like, listen, it's like there is a way to do it and there's a way not to do it, and I feel that just taking something that's already been created by the AI and then saying, look what I created, and then like remashing it. I'm like, well, you didn't really create anything. You prompted it. You didn't really create anything from scratch. There's still no human touch in it from the original idea. It's just a prompt. Um, okay, so we got this one here. Let's see. Somehow I just lost my little indication. How did I lost my little bar there? Let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and I don't remember hitting accept on that. Let's go ahead and generate again. I'm gonna take it back down some because this one's gonna be kind of fun. I want to take it down lower and see what crazy stuff I can introduce to it, but by still retaining the silhouette. Look at that. See, that's where it gets fun. It's still respecting my opening for the eye. It still kind of has a resemblance of an eyeball in there, but it's like, okay, it's changed up some of these cylindrical forms to more square forms, but it's cool. It's showing me different ideas, and I can choose to keep them or not. I'm gonna keep this one, and let's do it again. And I'm gonna keep it at 30%. This is where you kind of get these weird these mutant variations, but like right there, look at it kind of fused the legs together, and it flattened out the feet. But it's like it's cool because like it gives me some like, okay, that's kind of interesting. It kind of saw that, um, and I'm liking what it's doing up here. This kind of gives me some ideas for like something down the road. I can save that and maybe like look at it again and like incorporate that and like kit bash it, or photo bash it. So I think it's kind of valid to use this as, like I said, as ideation. I'm not going to sit there and call this one done. I'm going to say this is kind of an interesting idea. Let's kind of continue on. Let's go back over here and maybe take it up to 60%. I really want to know how it's deciding to do the translucency because it kind of knows like, okay, there's something on the other side of this. Can I put in like index of refraction? I don't know if that would work. I'm not really a big fan of how it morphed out these feet here. It's like see, now it's starting to get away from my original idea. Um, let's go back into our layers and let's take it back down to, where's that other one I liked? This one. Was that the first one? Yeah. Let's go here, and now let's go into render, but let's take it back into Technicolor 6, and we'll try that, and we'll keep it 100% of this idea. And this is going to add that whole other rendering palette into it, but it's going to kind of base it off of this pastel colors. Let's see what we get. Actually, this one went crazy. Went right into adding this whole like yellowy orange, which I love. And it's starting to give an indication of background, which will help as we further refine. Let's keep it. Let's refine. So like 55. Wow, look at what it did to the hands. That's pretty cool. Like just treating myself as like balloons, translucent jelly balloons. And that's interesting. Again, I'm looking at some of this stuff here. Like, if I was going to build this, if I was going to model this in 3D, I'm like, okay, I get an indication of some stuff here, but I still have to kind of figure out how this is going to work. And that's where it's not doing it all for you yet. It's still kind of like it's giving you like these blackout. That's the one thing I do like about the one thing I do like about this Technicolor 6 one is it gives you like a very kind of like a rough, sketchy quality, so it's not refined, and that way I can look at it, go, I can see the forms and the values of the palette, and then I can kind of go from there, and I can actually just take that without refining it, just like use it as a guide to draw on top of that. So I enjoy some of that, back and forth. I just really want to be able to make my own. I mean, when we get to the point where we can make our own style in here, that's going to be the next game changer for this. Like, okay, now I'm going to take my stuff. I want to train it on everything I've done over the years, including like paintings I did in college, and all my drawing style and how I'm heavy-handed in certain ways with I used to draw with charcoal and stuff, whatnot. Like, I think, we all see it in a different way, and like I would like to be able to train on that. That's, to me, it's going to be more exciting. So we all know it's going to happen. It's going to get there, but I'm trying to use this. I'm trying to use this as a force of good, and I'm not trying to like go out there and like I don't want to constantly try to put in anybody's name, and like actually if you try it, it will say we don't support that. So you if you try to put like in some concept artist name, it says we don't support that. Even when I was doing Midjourney, I think I tried it like once, and I was like, what am I doing? It's like I don't want some else's style. It's like total cheating. So I try to use it ethically in a way where I'm just like using it to kind of build ideas. And let's save this one. Let's go here and add a new layer. Let's try doing something totally different on this. Let's say if I wanted to go back here now, I wanted to add this eye back to like give it my Sketchbot flair. So actually, let me do this first. Let me put the iris in first. Just give an indication of blue iris, and then we'll go in and add this black, and then I'll do my trademark highlight, which I always put between there, and then let's kind of clean this up. Get rid of this. This is where I want that smudge tool, so I can kind of just smudge it out a little bit, clean it up. You can go in here and change the opacity of the brush, but it's just a headache trying to like blend this to get it. You can sort of kind of do that. That's what I'm doing here, but you kind of have to, kind of blend it and back and forth and pick and choose. If I just had a smudge tool, it would just be so much easier. So I could just push that value a little bit and smudge it out. So I know the Vizcom guys are watching. That's what I want. Please get it. Okay, cool. There we go. Let's do that, and let's also let's try to delineate. Let's try to delineate this a little bit. Let me try to find a darker value of this pink here, and see if I can maybe indicate. And let me turn back off this. Go back to. See if I can maybe indicate a thumb. And it's gonna be pretty garbage because I'm not really. Let's see. Oops, I'll do that. Let's see if that gives us anything. And we will refine. Now we're going to refine. Let's kind of go up a little bit to like 75%. We'll refine on that. So that kind of got a little clearer on the eyeball. It's sort of kind of it still has a problem with hands a lot. One thing I also notice when I start refining, I start losing the saturation, which I don't like. I like keeping the saturation. Let's just start refining that one, see what we get. So I'm kind of just like refeeding it to itself over and over again to see if I can change it up a little bit here. You can kind of see back and forth. It's just subtle, but there's like some changes in there. The eye starts to get a little bit cleaner. But again, like I don't know if it is it recognizing this cartoon eye. Who knows? Um, and also, this helmet, it's looks like it's translucent, but the eyeball should kind of come around here. And then you get this weird cutoff right here, so it's like it's solid, but it's translucent. Like, who knows what's going on here? Like, I can try to guide that. Let's actually try that, because I've done that in the past where I've gotten some decent results. So if I go and do a new layer, let's go in here and see if I can maybe design a little cowling for this, and we'll paint it in. So this will be solid. This is where you know, your discerning eye kind of kicks in. You're like, okay, I want to try to see if I can guide it in a direction that I want. So I'm going to create this, and let's kind of do something like where maybe I go and make the inside of it. So let's do another layer so I can easily erase it without drawing over. So if I maybe do something like this, we'll draw in like an inside, right? And then I'm going to pop that eyeball in a little bit. So now I've got this. I'm going in the erase mode. I can kind of clean it up a little bit. Yeah. And then let's go in here and we'll add another layer, and we're going to introduce the idea that this, actually, you know what we can do? I'm going to show you how you can use you can use a shape tool. We can go to here, ellipse tool, we can say fill, and we'll just go ahead and draw a circle line. I wish I could hit the space bar and move it around like in Photoshop, but if I just do that, then I can go over here and transform it. So we'll kind of just like do this. Let's see. And then we will use this tool to just take it down a little bit while I erase. Yeah, I'm kind of off on the scale there. Let me go back here and take it down a little bit now. Let's take this down a little bit. Let's see if that's going to work. Ah, it's a little bit. I'm not hitting that little white. Okay, let's pop that up. So I've got like a layer. I got 3 layers here. Let's see if it I have no idea. We'll see if it respect this little thin idea here and give me a nice little cowling with a glass top. Go back here, and we're going to say we'll keep the. This is where I want to see if maybe I stop doing translucent and just keep robot in, because I don't want to keep on doing that. But let's do that, and let's also, this might be a good idea to try infill. So we're going to do the in painting on like this area right here. I don't know if that. Let's see what that does. I'm just curious if it's going to work. I can't tell if that. Let's see. Okay, so it did kind of. You can see how it worked. It just iterated on that and kept that. Cool. So here's where it gets dangerous. Then, like, well, okay, I like that, but then do I keep on trying on the whole image? Well, if I do, I'm gonna start ruining some other stuff. So that's kind of where you kind of go through and say, okay, well, I can infill and say I only want to, edit this area. Let me take this one and let's go and try refining it just a little bit lower to see what it does. This might screw it up. Oh, that's interesting. So it's respecting that layer there, but that's kind of cool. It kind of made the forearms totally clear. Wow. But then I'm losing some of the cool color that I liked earlier. Yeah, I don't know how this is a weird jelly left everything. It would be cool if I could change this all and say, okay, I make this all be translucent glass. But that's kind of fun because I like this, but I can kind of like, okay, it just kind of showed me an idea about what if I did make these forearms and the fist all translucent. Well, that gave me an idea. Maybe it just didn't give me the render of it, but it gave me the idea that, like, when I model it up in 3D, I can actually, change the materials myself and make it translucent, and then put maybe some idea of, like, a skeleton inside there with some, joints and stuff. So, again, use it as ideation. I'm not trying to say this is the final thing. I'm just saying these are like stepping stones to build on. But look what I was able to get there. Obviously, I'm looking at this here. This sphere should be a little bit more rounded, but you get the idea. So again, from we've gone through not that many here actually. We've only gone through probably like what, maybe like 15 or so. It's pretty cool. Let's go ahead and we'll go back to files, so I can save this progress. You can also name these too. I'm gonna name this one. So how do I name it? I can't remember where I named it at. Where's the naming go on it? Nope. I thought there was a way to name it here. For some reason, I thought there was a... Oh, here, it's right in front of my face. And then we'll change this one to... like this egg yolk. Let's call this egg bot. It looks like an egg to me. I will show one thing for I got 4 viewers here watching. I actually used this on a real job last week. So I'm doing a cool little piece here for a client where this big job that I did, they wanted a little NFT based thing or whatever. So what I did was I close all the stuff down. So I mocked it up in Photoshop. I'm sorry. I did an initial sketch for them, and then I did a version of it in Maya. Where's my Maya model at? Let's see here. This is right here. Okay, so it's a very simple model, and I was using Zoo Tools to do some of their setup lighting and the cool grid background. Shout out to Andrew. You gotta check out stuff if you guys use Maya. So that was a basic idea that I did, and then I was trying to figure out. I just wanted to add some greeblies and give it some like panel lines and stuff. Like, I could have gone through and like try to find a bunch of different reference material to try to do the same thing, but let me just try using Vizcom and see if I could do it. So I typed in sleek industrial base. I think I typed in like Star Trek, I think these first ones was like sleek industrial steel base. So I was not getting anything interesting. Then I put Star Trek in the prompt, and right there, I started getting some interesting. And I kept on iterating on that one. And I'm like, okay, cool. That's all I wanted. I just wanted to see it. Give me some ideas of just how to break up this plate a little bit. That one got a little bit too much. Starfleet. Again, these are kind of getting a little too much. And that's like way too much. But I just wanted to see what I can get. These are like steel, and I just kept on iterating on that one just to kind of give me something I could show the client and say, hey, what do you think about that for an idea for a base? But like if you just use it, like I just use it sparingly, just as a time saver instead of me having to go find something that looks similar and figure out where I wanted to put some panel lines and some bolts or whatnot. Let me just use Vizcom to see if I can just like help me out a little bit to quickly, I fed it the source. This is like the base. It's going to be a 3-leg base, and obviously these got a little too warped for me. I'm going to keep them more mechanical, but I love what it did here around the perimeter and inside here, and these are some cool ideas I can use when I'm building out the full 3D model. So that I think is totally valid. That's how you should use it. And then we'll talk about one of these. Like, okay, I was doing this one the other day. This one was really fun. I don't have the original drawing here because I did this on the iPad, but I can show you. I think there's a way I can go all the way down. Can I click on? We'll just do this. We'll take this image and we'll just duplicate it and move to the top. Okay, see what I did there? For some reason when I did it, it automatically shoved it all the way to the top for me, which I like. So I don't know if it was because I had it selected though. Anyhow, this image turned into that image through a lot of just experimentation. I haven't actually done a time lapse of this one yet. I'll post this one later. But this was just me going to town on all these crazy ideas and just pushing it and pushing it. Let's see here. What do I got? Oops, I didn't want to do that. I just wanted to do that. So I was using some translucency on these limbs. I'm just gonna try to go down here and see. I can't remember how it took this crazy turn. There we go. There, that I did another re-render. So from there to there, you can see how it kind of changed up. But even from here, like, if I keep on going down, there's the. You can see that that's the original sketch coming through. And it wasn't until I started to get into more. I was trying to keep orange in there, and then you can see how the body, like watch the body, just kind of change. You know. Oh, these were even crazier. I have to do a time lapse, so I'm actually screwing up my order here. But you can see how it just kind of, and I did a lot of painting. I was like trying to guide some of the cuts in here and stuff. And I was like doing a lot of painting along the way. So, you know, you can paint along the way and get some amazing results, and pushing it, like I showed you guys in the car image. Let me see here if I go down. Where's that? Something's turned on up here. Where is it at? Where is that layer at? I can see it's influencing it. Let's see. These were kind of crazy. These were taken through a different render. Oh, this was using a just one of my drawings as a reference image. I should show you that too. So I don't know if I have them all on the iPad. Let's see. Because my original drawing had some value to it, this one here, this has some indication of shading from, this is an old Procreate drawing. So let's just start again on this one for the 5 people watching. We'll go over here now, and we're going to, I can actually, instead of doing a render right now, let's just try doing a refinement on this and see what we get, because I already have enough information in there that I think the refinement will pick something up. So let's call this, again, I'm going to call this eyeball robot, because that's like, I'm just saying eyeball because that's kind of one of the prominent features in this, and I like the fact that it is a robot. And if I said like looking down, I don't think that really matters, because it's like, I know that's it's like too much. I like to keep my prompts kind of simple, but I could do something like, because I'm refining right now, I'm not rendering. Like if I say like, you know, eyeball robot, like in a dystopian, you know, cyberpunk world, it's not gonna put any information in, because there's nothing it could recognize from the white void. So this is where I would do a render first. So just to show you how, if you have like a value drawing like this, let's see what we can get. If I take it down like 50%, okay, actually, first of all, if I kept the drawing influence at like say 85 or 90%, we'll just see what we get here. It's gonna try to look at it. It's not gonna really do too much. You can see what it did. It sort of kind of cleans it up a little bit, right? I mean, that might work to our advantage down the road. I might keep that and just move forward, or just like say, let's not keep it. Let's take it down. So if I take it down like 65, let's see what we get from there. This gets interesting because it looks like it now is starting to try to add some real world stuff into here, but it doesn't know how to resolve that hand, because my hand was pretty loose and blurry. This hand, it kind of is keeping it, but again, like I said, it doesn't really know hands that well. But that's kind of getting tighter. I kind of like what it did with the eye. This is kind of giving me a Fifth Element vibe, that little hunched back there. Let's confirm it. Let's take it down to like 40% and see what we get off of this. It's probably going to start making it look like plates and panels and things in there. There we go. Now look at that. Fucking A, right? I mean, come on. So now it's kind of starting to like add mechanical. I just said robot, but I didn't say what kind of robot. I didn't say what kind of material. But it's kind of going through now, and like it's using my negative shapes and like my areas of indication of like, you know, what a joint is, and what's an arm and an elbow, and you know what all this is. I don't like that it's going to a realistic eyeball. So I would take off eyeball in the next solve, but I love everything else about this. This, I'm not digging the hand. This hand's interesting. It has no rhyme or reason to our real hand, but it's kind of giving me some ideas. So let's confirm this. Let's clean this one up. I don't like these feet. They're too flat and angular. So let's see what we can do here. Let's go to our layers. Let's add a new layer, and let's start painting. And I'm going to try to clean this up as best I can. So let's try to go in here and maybe just give this some more solidity again for the next solve. And what I don't like is, see, it's starting to put like a hand in there. The AI still doesn't really know what like a robot hand is, or a hand in general. So I'm just going to try to clean this up a little bit. And let's try to indicate there's maybe like some divisions there. Let's see what that gives us. And then let's get That's kind of cool because it's almost like a, yeah, it's like, I want to say that for later. Though. I want to start adding tubing and stuff yet. Let's just kind of clean it out. But that's so cool, that little bolt coming out. Let's get rid of it. Let's go back and see if I can reintroduce the idea of a hand. So I just do something like this. And again, see this, you can go in here and you can redraw and you can try it out. Let's take this thigh. I'm trying to make it solid. Let's try, there's a joint there, which is interesting. Let's keep that joint. And let's make this darker. So I'm really pushing that as a negative, like it's a crevice in there that I want. And I'm gonna clean that up too. So let's first take this. Let's see if I can maybe get it a little bit. I don't want to outline it too much. I just want to. See, this is where I want that. I want that tool, the smudge tool, so I can kind of quickly shade this by hand. Let's also, there's like a cross beam there. I don't like that at all. Let's get rid of that. Let's try to repaint this a little bit. Maybe get rid of that. Keep that joint there. Let's try to maybe redo this a little bit here. And let me, yeah, I might have to see if I can just round off the tops here a little bit. Kind of break up that. I don't like the hard edge on those. Kind of has a platform, which is interesting. And let's get rid of that. So I hate this eye. This eye looks terrible. Let's get rid of that. I don't like any of those colors in there. Let's start from scratch. I'm just going to repaint the whole thing. And I got some really cool lenses too. And that other robot that I did a couple weeks ago, I got some amazing lenses. Let's see if we can just try to get in here and let's try this. Let's paint the iris in, then we'll grab some color here. Give it a little bit of a highlight. And yeah, I can go even further and do like, I can even try to like indicate you know, some shading and lighting here. And I've had it pick it up before where I actually kind of recognize it as like an edge. But I'm just doing this really quick and down and dirty, so forgive me if it's not totally clean. But this is the power of having a drawing tablet or a display. And like if you're doing this on your iPad, I actually find it's a little bit more immediate because I'm drawing like around the iPad surface as well. That's kind of a cool little detail there. Let's keep all these. Is there anything else that looks kind of off here? Yeah. That could be rounded a little bit more, but let's keep it. Let's just, I just want to kind of beef it up a little bit because it's kind of starting to get lost. Let's beef this up a little bit. See if I can get just a little bit something more substantial. And then I don't have any shadow, but if I did to maybe something like, I think if I did something like this, I think it'll add a shadow, or might, I don't know what it's going to do. Let's see. Let's just keep it in and see what we get. And we will rerun this one. And let's see what we get. That's cool. Yeah, the floor is not doing anything, but I'm not digging that. I don't like that, and I don't like the hands. That's interesting. See, I'm getting some cool stuff here because it's down to 40%. Let's throw that away. I don't like it. Let's cancel that. Let's get rid of this floor that I put in there. Let's go back and just paint this out because I don't like that, what it's doing. What I'll do next is I'll try doing a Technicolor render, and we'll take that I know will introduce some cool colors. Let's just go back there. Let's fix this back up to like maybe like 55. Let's go 60. See what we get. Yeah, these hands are, it's tough with the hands. It's really having a struggling hard time with getting anything to work with the hands. This is all looking pretty cool. Let's get a little bit better. Let's save it. God, I really hate that finger. Let's try to clean this up a little bit more. I just keep on trying to guide it. That's really bad. I'm just like throwing shapes in here to see if it even picks something up. I'm just being lazy right now. Let's see if I can change this a little bit. That's interesting. See, it kind of resolved those fingers, but I don't like. I like this placement of fingers. I don't like this placement of fingers. So, let's cancel it. Let's just try refining it at a higher value. Yeah, that hand's still screwed up pretty bad. All this other stuff's looking cool. I'm just like not digging the hands. I have to redo the hands at some point. But anyhow, you can see right there, we're getting some interesting results. I'm actually going to lose the eye. It's like, I don't know, how is it going to distinguish between the background and the eye if I do a render? Let's see what we get if I just go into the Technicolor and try it. I'm just curious if it'll lose the roundness of the eyeball there. Nope, it kind of retained it. Interesting. Now watch this. Let's do something like this. Let's go back into refine mode, but let's say we'll say something like we'll say like shiny. I know, let's just say like metallic. If I can spell today, metallic bronze eyeball robot, and then let's say by Star Wars, and then we'll take this down, and we'll roll the dice, or pull the slot machine on the digital AI slot machine. They should have a little sound effect there. I'm rolling the dice. By the way, I just realized I've been talking for like an hour, almost an hour and a half. Is there any other questions in the chat that I can answer for the? Looks like there's maybe 4 people watching right now. Is there anything I can answer for anybody? Because I tend to ramble. Let's see. This is taking a little while to solve. Sometimes I've noticed that sometimes it just has a weird hang sometimes where it kind of goes in and it doesn't. I have to like stop it and restart it. I don't know if it's actually doing anything. Let's hit cancel and let's try it again. There we go. Okay, cool. So that's interesting. This doesn't look shiny or metallic-y. That does. And then I've got it set to 50%, so it's totally changed up a lot of this like design language here. But that's interesting. I can kind of see some of the Star Wars, like not necessarily lightsaber, but maybe like, you know, the pod racing cylinders. A couple little things in here are kind of cool. I've actually went down a whole Star Wars rabbit hole on one of these a while back, and I was like doing everything from like, you know, C-3PO, Boba Fett, R2-D2, and like you would see those elements pop in. I posted those on my Instagram. Let's save that one and let's do another. Now I got really crazy. We totally lost the legs, and you can see how it's adding like the R2-D2 lights in here. Yeah, that totally like changed. So, you know, you kind of get a feel for how much the drawing influence like changed it or doesn't. Like we go back up to like maybe like this is the refining stage here. We'll start refining it a little bit more tighter. Interesting. You can see how it starts resolving the background. We'll save it. At this point, let's stop doing that. I like to try this one, red fire hydrant, because I love that whatever they're using for fire hydrant in the source material libraries that they've been using are like these old style, like they're like European fire hydrants, and I'm finding that they have really more interesting results than American fire hydrants. And I start getting these really cool like rivets and stuff like it's bolting into the ground. It's too early to start merging those legs. And I also like that ball joint there. Let's see if I maybe go to like 70%. I don't want to lose the 2 legs yet. it's still kind of where we're taking it. So you can kind of see, you see how the influence works on this. Let's not take it down that low. Let's keep it up. I don't want to lose the legs. And also, you know what? I took out the word, so you can see it's sort of like the shading sort of indicating it, but it's not totally gone yet. But I took out the word robot. I wonder if I put the word robot back in, if it's gonna maybe say, oh yeah, robot. Well, it doesn't know if a robot has 2 arms and 2 legs. That's a droid. Let's try droid. I don't know. That's where, like, yeah, I really wish I could know more about how the prompting is influencing this. Like I don't have that much experience with a ton of previous, AI prompting stuff. I tried, what was the one? I tried Disco Diffusion is the one with the Google where you have to set up your Google Drive. I tried that one like last year, and I tried, like I said, I tried Midjourney, but that's about it. I haven't really been following the AI stuff that closely, so I don't know what's a good prompt. I don't know, if it's you can over prompt. And I hate that it would be like, oh, you have to be well versed in prompting to get good results. It's like, fuck that. It's like, just like, I think the simpler the prompt is, the better you can, control your stuff. I like that eyeball. Let's confirm that. Let's see if I take these down back to our drawing. So you can see that totally changed. But the idea is it's still the same. It's still the same orientation in the idea, but it's totally off. But if we go to, like, say that one, that's pretty close. That one's really close. You can see how it's, it's still using your original source. I should just show you guys a couple of these. I posted these on Instagram the other day. If you're not following me on Instagram, I encourage you to follow me. This is my thread. This is my name. Like, for example, this one here. Again, it was a very simple. I was gonna try to do a whole Inktober thing, but I was so busy. I just did this one, light bulb dreamer, right? So I just did a quick sketch. That's the sketch, just like the most down dirtiest, like, just loosey goosey sketch I can think of, just to try it out and see it, like, would it retain it. And then, I started getting these crazy results. I mean, come on, check this out. It's pretty cool. Just having fun with it. And I was purposely taking these way down below like 40% to see what it would throw at it. And this is even before I even knew how to, like, keep on refining with different stuff. I was like, okay, let me just go and do whatever. If you guys want, like, this series here was a series where the one I just used to show you guys earlier. This series here, I just kept on reusing the same base model and just, like, look at the lens on this. I mean, come on, where's that coming from? And this stuff here is, like, just gorgeous. So I just was, like, finding all these different little ways to, like, push and pull it, but it's still keeping the same idea. I mean, I think this one was a Gundam I put in, or Transformer or something, and you can kind of see it's kind of like starting to branch off there. But that was Yellow Submarine. That was I think I just did, like, green clay Chavant render. This is where I got really freaky. This first one I did was balloon, inflatable. I think I said inflatable balloon, and I was, like, blown away. I was like, what? I mean, like, it still kept the silhouette of the eye. This is where it started getting really cool. This one definitely was a Star Wars one. I think this was Mandalorian. You can see for sure it's getting some of that stuff in there. This one's kind of creep in some real hands. I was like, I didn't like it too much, but it's kind of interesting I like how it shoved the thumbs out a little bit on that. There's another one. I think I did another glowing Tron prompt. This was just wood, and I did a bunch of them, but this is the one that was more successful. I was getting some kind of interesting, like, I didn't put in, like, metal, but I can't remember how the metal even got in here, but I kind of went with it, and I thought that was kind of interesting results. But this looks like it was carved out of wood, and it's just like it's still respecting my original. Oh, this one was black leather with gold accents, and I mean, look at how it retained that, and it put stitching around the eyes. That to me is the crazy stuff. I'm like, what? How did it decide to do that? And they put a belt around it. I'm like, I don't know how to do that, but I'm like, these are crazy. But there's still, you can still tell it was based on that same original idea that I did. this to me was this was Boba Fett. You could definitely tell with the color scheme. But this one also, you can see how it has like a less. I didn't refine it that much, and it kept it really loosey goosey, and it has a really cool like concept painting feel to it. Like I like these because then I can kind of go in and I can kind of like decide how I want to refine it myself instead of just letting it refine it for me. So I kind of use it that way too. That was another Star Wars one for sure. You can tell that this was definitely Star Wars. And Star Wars is so easy to use because there's like a ton of visual language out there for that. This one, okay, you guys, this is where it got really fun. Then I started like, let me start. It was just like late at night. I was just like kind of getting loopy doing these for like 2 hours straight, and I was like, okay, let me start trying putting food in. And I think this was like dark chocolate donut with colored sprinkles, and I was like, okay, you're kidding me, right? It's like I'm getting like this texture of like chocolate, and I was like, when I saw this, I was blown away. Like, and this is even before I even started learning about in painting. I probably could have gone in and like redone this one and changed up the iris and get a different color in there and get more definition between the eyes and stuff. This one here, I can't even remember what I did, but I got this kind of crazy looking egg yolk thing, and so I think I went through and I started using egg yolk in my prompt. Like, you know, everything from up top looks great. I'm not a big fan of this at the bottom, but there's some interesting stuff here. But yeah, this kind of gives you some ideas. Like, wow, I never would have seen that. This was I used IKEA as just a brand color to see if I can get some of that blue and yellow in there, and you can certainly see it. This was the first time I tried this. I was like lime green Jello, and that's what I got. I'm like, how did this was like I just stumbled upon this. I'm like, how did I even know to put like a translucency in there? I didn't know what. I didn't even put anything to say translucent. I just said lime green Jello. This one, pineapple, right? That's all I did. But look at how it delineates this with the. I just don't. How did it do this? And then it decides to use like a pineapple slice, and like this round, like it looks like like another piece of fruit I put in there. And then it even with the legs, it did this half, kind of like slice. I just was blown away. I just wonder like why I decided not to do it for the arms. But again, just crazy results here. Chocolate. This one, I don't know what kind of chocolate figure. There's some maybe like some European character made out of chocolate, but something was kind of definitely coming through, and you can see how it changed up the. It looks like it's a character with a helmet now, and then I have no idea what it's doing with this, but it's kind of really freaky cool. This was I just typed in SpongeBob SquarePants to see it, and like you can see where it's introducing sponge in here, and it's keeping the yellow accents. But it really this one I think I could probably get better results if I went back and play with it a little bit more. Like you can see, it's kind of maybe trying to do something here with the face. I don't know yet, but then I went back and did another chocolate donut one, but this time I think I did with frosting, and it totally treated it a little differently. But look at that, man! It's like it's using the same concept I put in there, and it's really amazing. This is really to me like it's like an advanced morphing concept. This was funny. I think I just used steampunk on this one. This one was Swiss cheese, so it was interesting how it kind of did this like really crazy negative space for the eyeball, which I love. That's kind of cool. And then I kept on going with this one. So then I did this one, which this one was fun because this one it kind of went into a weird basketball concept. So this is the time lapse. You can see how I was just like, again, I think I was like just like, okay, sports. What can I do for sports teams? And I started putting like it went from like I can't slow this down, but it morphed the hands into like human hands holding a basketball, and so then I kind of went with it and kind of like tried to take it back into robot. So it's just crazy, right? I mean, this is like all from that base model. This was like the first one I think I just did I think I just did basketball, and you can see how it's doing introducing the basketball leather in here, which that was really cool. And I just kept on going with it. These are not in order, by the way, but like, this one was kind of freaky. I'm like, what the hell? It's like, okay, well, I'm gonna have this. And just how the legs were positioned. Then it started like changing it off into this weird, like human legs, human limbs, but still kind of robot. And then once I kind of started going back into the robot world, that's where it kind of started getting cool. And then I was like, come on, man, this is like I would never have thought of this, you know. That's where it was like I was like, this showed me some new ideas based on just that weird concept that I had. But you kind of like, is this like what rabbit hole did I decide to go down to iterate on, and then from there I kind of start guiding it to what I want to see. This was the one where I was feeding it fire hydrant, so I was like, let me see if I can devolve my character down to a fire hydrant. And I love some of the color designs in here too. Like these are great, and this is like beautiful stuff. And then up the back, of the background's getting all treated with this as well. Like how the base is kind of introduced there. all derived from that one original source image. Like, I love this one because I kind of kept that outline of the eyeball. That's so cool. So I mean, come on, like, yes, these are things that I probably would never have come up with on my own at all. But it was kind of cool to see how I could use the AI as a way to help me out there. These are the earlier ones. This one here also is one of my favorites. I'm going to be modeling this guy, but I did this for a client years ago for this Chinese client. This was my drawing. It was pretty. I tried to shade it up in Procreate and kind of make it something volumetric, not knowing, this is like years ago, right? So it's like, okay, let me see what kind of results I can get out of this. And the first one I got was not that one, but I got this one because I wasn't even playing around. I was still early on learning how to use the program, so I have to go back now and try redoing this one. But I was getting some interesting things by just hitting refine and it was introducing these interesting parts. And like this one here, it's like kind of a kit bash thing where it's like, how can we kind of like fit real world elements into your silhouette? So that's definitely still my character, but it's like it's a different interpretation of it. And then when I started doing the rendering, like, look at that's even kind of weird. But once I started doing like that, the first time I did that first Technicolor, when I was like, oh my god, look at the it's got my it still has my initial pose and stance, but it changed up the proportion a little bit here, and I was like, yeah, that's kind of what I want to go with. And then like I kept on iterating on that one and changing up the render values, and just another. I mean, look at that! Come on, give me some color palette ideas. Like, there's some weird stuff going on here. Like, I'd have to like figure out how I would reattach this to make it work, but it's all there. It's like it's just ideas. This one's a very much more loosey goosey, but again, I like the color. I like how I turn the eye black. So like, there's like really lots of like garbagey stuff in here, but I could reiterate on that one if I wanted to. This one was kind of fun because the start of this one again was just this really loosey goosey drawing, and then I think my first couple solves it kind of kept the segmentation. This is before I kind of knew about jumping right into refine versus render. So I was like I went right into refine mode, and I was getting these kind of interesting. And I don't. And my prompting was not sophisticated at all. It was really simple. But now I'm seeing like I can go back to these and maybe like introduce some other ideas. This is kind of cool where it starts it's now kind of volumetrizing the torso and the pelvis separately. And then I redid a new render where it kept the segmenting, and that kind of kept iterating on that one, and then it kind of turned into this, which is like what it's like that's pretty cool. So again, it's show me something new that is based on my original seed, and I'll go with it. This was a very interesting one. This is like one of my very early ones. This one here. Let me see, where's the drawing at? I didn't put these in order. This was like just another goofy drawing I did, and this one was done in Sketchbook Pro years ago. So again, like look at the orientation. My perspective is all off, but I kind of wanted it to be a little wonky because that's why I try to get this idea of this weird character walking. But it went. So that was the first one I did, and you can see it's still in the same orientation. But then it wasn't until I started keep on going, and then it changed. Like it started changing up this leg. So instead of going away from us, it started coming forward. And the same thing with the you can see here it's kind of changing it. And I was like, this is like when I think it's like probably like the third or fourth I was doing. I was like, why is it screwing up on the legs? And I tried to redrawing the feet, and I wasn't really knowing what I was doing. I kept on just like hitting solve, and I was really new to the program. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just like, what? I was like, what did I do with how did I get this background? So I kept on just going with it. But like lots of cool happy accents on this one, and then the final one that I called the final was pretty cool. I want to definitely go back to this one, but this kind of was like has a cool how it got this helmet out of that was a really cool idea. So again, just like all this stuff is like just is reference stuff for like I have like an endless supply now of ideas to like move forward with. This one was fun too because this one was like that's a drawing, right? So it's pretty example of what it is. It's like it looks like a robot with like a sewer cap on its head with a smokestack coming out of it, right? And then that was the first iteration. So I think this one I basically said something like I think I said like smokestack robot in industrial environment, and it added this smokestack and this little character here. And then but I was like, okay, interesting. It still kept the clampy hands. The segments here are still there but not as much. And then I went to the Vizcom render. I was like, what? And I got this. And then I kept on going through it. So again, I'm still learning how to use the program at this point. I'm like, I didn't even know I can go back and repaint stuff here. So I was like trying to like, I wasn't even guiding it yet. So I just kept on redoing the render. So I was kind of like just flying by the seat of my pants on these, not knowing what I was doing, but I was getting some interesting results. Now I know a lot more of how to control it. Oh, this was another cool one because this drawing that I used initially was pretty tight. So that was another Sketchbook Pro drawing that I kind of just like did this one years ago, and I just try to really keep the shading and try to do like a nice illustration. So I had enough information when I took it in to do the first pass. So I just use that and iterated to that, and then I kind of started getting crazy, and I can't remember what prompts I was using here, but I was trying to I was using like glow and stuff. Why do I keep on hitting this stupid? I don't even have this thing loaded. But yeah, these were fun. I got to go back now and try redoing these. These I think I started doing some Star Wars. I just had some Star Wars prompts in there. But then fast forward to like recent stuff. Oh, by the way, I have to show you this one. This one was one of my favorites of all. This is sculpture, man. This is like I could sculpt this thing. So this is what I'm starting off with here. I'm starting off with a very simple drawing, just like a base. Do I have the drawing here at the end? I don't have that at the end. But I just doing quick drawing in Procreate. Just let me just try to do a planar study of the face. This here, obviously, I think I just typed in like wood bust or wood head. There's some interesting things. So, like there's a negative space here, I think, but I didn't go forward with it. But then the eyes kind of cut out there, and then it really kind of like. But the thing I love about these is the sternocleidomastoideus that I put in. It's really evident on all this stuff. So this obviously was a Star Wars one. You can see I think it was like leaning toward into C-3PO on this one. But look at that. I love how this just broke down the form. Look at that. How it created that sternocleidomastoideus muscle. So that's another Star Wars one, obviously. A little bit C-3PO with some. You can see some Darth Vader coming through that one. That one I loved. I have no idea how I got this one, but it was just really crazy. Like, okay, we're gonna try to match that shape with something indication of an eye, but then give me this whole crazy negative space. I love that. This one also was kind of cool. I didn't like it because it's getting a little too creepy into like having a figure come through, which I didn't like. I kind of want to try to keep more sculptural mechanical, but it also has some really interesting zygomatic arch type of stuff here, which I thought was kind of cool. Like, this one was really cool. It's kind of respecting my mouth form with that upturned nose. And yeah, again, the sternocleidomastoid muscle here is kind of coming through. Oh, come on. What is up with this? I keep hitting this damn button. This I love. Look at this. Now this with lighting too is amazing. This looks like a real sculpture. This looks like a found object sculpture that could be sitting in an art gallery somewhere. But it's like based on my orientation and my my initial blocking. It's just crazy. I thought these are some of the more successful ones. So again, that you can see really quickly that I just froze on that. I also intentionally put that little bevel, that little soft corner right there to kind of see if that would be picked up in the solve. I was trying to throw a couple things in here, and these are all done These are done at like late at night. I'm sitting on the couch with the iPad, and I'm doing these all through the iPad browser. So definitely, you have to be sitting at a computer to do these. This one I just love this. There's something about this how it just kind of gave me that really cool mouth, and I love this one. So it's just there's some amazing things that I'm like getting excited about using this program. Then I decided to go down the whole car route at one point and did all these cars, and then I was getting to the again, all these cars were derived from just me doing like these stupid garbagey drawings, especially this one. This one I actually had modeled something like this years ago, but let me try doing like a little cool little like, what is this gonna be, like a flying egg or something, right? Really garbagey. Just ran it through Vizcom, and then man, just like the first iteration, it lost the tail fin, but I just kind of kept on going with it, and I was like, how is this background getting so detailed? And then I was like, look at this. I just kept on going with it, and like I can model that. Okay, all these were done, and then this. Okay, so these two were very interesting ideas. So this one again started from a drawing, but it was very boxy and very simple. And then the next one, you can see how it's just a very simple. It wasn't even meant to be a truck, but I think I typed in truck at one point, or it was like it went to like a golf cart phase, and went to a truck phase. But that's the drawing. Again, I was just goofing around one night late, just like let me just try doing something, and I just like prompting with car stuff because I figured like you know what, this is like kind of one of the things that was kind of geared towards the car designers, concept designer. So let me see if I can like start putting some car stuff in there and just making like some goofy cars. And then and then I went back to that drawing and I revised the drawing. You can kind of see right there. I kind of made it into a nicer, cleaner truck. And then look at these results. Again, all from a drawing. These are like Lego. I think I used like Legos, and you know, that's kind of a weird perspective because like, is it in, is it out? But it kind of worked kind of cool. I kind of reiterated on that one. Um, wooden, wooden toy. Look at that. I love that. That's gorgeous with that color palette there, the bright salmon color there. This one also kind of some weird. I think I typed in. I think it was like some like I think I typed in like space truck or space van or something like that. And then I got these really cool colors. But that first one, look at that. I just love like the greens and the pastels, and it's just beautiful. Um, oh, this one was fun too. Again, another drawing, just another dumb drawing I did. Just like, okay, let me see what I can do, and just like iterate on it. When I take these down too low, it started introducing figures into it, which I didn't like. I don't like seeing like the real eyeballs and stuff behind it, so I was doing a lot of painting over. Kind of reminds me a little bit of like that Rosie or the robot from the Jetsons with the mouth, but just cool stuff. Like again, my drawing was super simple, just trying to define some planes. And then I had a cool run with this little toy tank that I made in Nomad Sculpt years ago. Again, just brought it in and just started getting these like crazy results. And again, this is from a render, so it was just an image that I had done with some curvature node stuff on it in Nomad. So I was already getting some built-in cool like highlighted glows. So then once I started doing the refinement, it just started using those in the solve. But you can see how it went from very angular to like I kind of pushed it into this like I kind of kept on pushing it, and like then I go into more of curvilinear mode, and um, yeah, it just was kind of fun to keep on just iterating. I just go down the rabbit hole with these. Look at that. Just beautiful stuff. That's the base drawing right there. Really simple. Again, just and I remember I did these years ago when they first came out the radial thing. I was like, okay, let me do a bunch of tires. So again, I just put the curvature node on and just like running these out and using these as a base to refine on. And I used the same model but just changed the orientation. So this is just from another angle. That's the angle right there. And then I just like again, what? I'm getting these really cool curves out of this. I'm like, I just loved it. So I just kind of kept on iterating and just like not being afraid to go down these weird tangents. I love that kind of simple, uh, unrefined, sketchy quality to this. And these are only like these like I did like not, I can only post like 10 images at a time on Instagram. So I showed the time lapse, but like I think I probably did like 100 of these each setting, and I just kept on going with it. This one was really fun because I did a reverse angle, and this one kind of lost the Canon, and I started treating it as a front facing thing. But this is the original. You can see it was facing the opposite direction. But I was getting some kind of cool lights here, and again, that's the no, that wasn't the original. That was a close to the original. That was weird. This is kind of getting this weird like kind of roof mounted dune buggy kind of thing, which is kind of another kind of fun departure. So I thought I'd go down that road for a little bit. But look at all the variations you can get on this. This and then this is another fun one here. This was me from that to the I'm sorry, these are all different angles. I had redone these, but this one I can't remember how I got this, but I got this. I think I was painting these curves in, and I kept on pushing it to give me more curves based on the original one, but keep these like knobby tires in. Like look at that color palette, is like amazing. Love this one. The opposing angles here are just beautiful. Look at that. I love this. These I'm actually some of these I'm going to be starting to model these as soon as concept. Again, this kind of had this like interesting doom buggy thing. I mean, come on. It's like I've got an endless supply of ideas here. Here again, you can kind of see the iterations. I'm pushing it. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm talking to some of my peers. I think this is definitely a valid route to go down. You know, I feel like I have authorship to these. I'm still not saying that I created these. I'm not saying look what I created, look what I made. I'm saying look what I ideated on with the Vizcom app. That's what I'm saying. I didn't create them. I can't take credit for I can't take credit for this. It's like I didn't do a final concept painting. I mean, I know there's concept artists out there, friends of mine who are like can do this level of work, and I wish I could do this kind of a thing. But for me, I have the initial idea. I have the blocking of what I want to get, and I just want to use the AI to maybe help me see some different forms and different ways of maybe doing a joint or doing this or doing that, and then I can go down that road and I can refine as I decide how I want to build it. So for me, it's an aid. I'm never gonna say that. Oh, look what I created. I'm not gonna take full credit for that. I'm gonna say I ideated with AI. It was a tool. This one again. This was Here's you can see that this was a very garbagey, down and dirty. Do I have the base one here? Let me see if I have it. That's kind of close to that one, but again, I was doing this really lazy. That is right there. So I did this really lazy block out in Nomad one day, and it was like it's garbage. It's really sloppy. It was like I didn't even get finished doing what the hands are going to be, and like it's just like let me just throw something together really quick. And I was like, I was just playing around with proportions before I decided to even refine it. So I just left it, and it's been sitting there for years. I was like, okay, let me try adding this one and see what I can get. And I started doing it. I'm like, okay, so what? How am I getting this from that? And then okay, this was one of the early ones. You can see the colors were still there, but I was like, what? So I started guiding it. I started repainting the hand a little bit to say, okay, let me get a claw in there, but let me use these as kind of like these protective shells around the hand. This I didn't like these because they were getting too human hands, but I did like some of this other stuff, so I kept these because I like this, but I don't like the hands because they don't fit the design. This was kind of fun. This is very interesting. That I love this because I actually guided this quite a bit to get the hands to kind of hook a little bit like this, and just try to see it this one. Also, I was experimenting with the refine image where I was introducing a sketch. You can kind of see again some sketches in there. Again, I hate the hands on here, but everything else is pretty cool. Damn it, I don't know why I keep on getting this damn window. But yeah, again, this one, look at that. Oh, this one I also had to keep on repainting to keep that, but this has a really cool kind of like a military actually, I think what I did was I used one of my I was showing a friend some of my 3A collection stuff, and I had just put one of my what's it called, the birdie bots or whatever, birdie character on the on my desk, and I was using that as an influence. I haven't shown that yet, but I'm not gonna show it now. You guys can watch it on their site, but you can just use that reference image, and it kind of tries to do it best to kind of match colors and shapes and stuff. You can also weight that as well during the solve, but that's what I got out of that. And then these were just a couple days ago. Again, these were these goofy models that I was doing. That right here, these are a couple-year-old models from Nomad. But what I did was I went back in. I just tried to do some quick down and dirty renders where I was doing the post-process volume, and I was just trying to okay, let me try to do some weird color ID and stuff, and just throw it into Vizcom, see what I can get. So already it's loose enough, but okay, I'm defining some forms here, and then I go from there. This one was just basically taking a drawing, and then using the drawing as a reference image. So from there to there, it's come on, it's that's awesome. And then this was, I found another crazy image. I think I just found it was like a corner of my. Oh, actually, I know what this one was. This was I don't know if I saw. I don't have it on this machine. I have my Sense Labs display box, and I took a really cool picture of one of there was the inside flap of the box that had so it had cardboard with a yellow, Sense Labs logo and the monitor, whatever. It's just it was like a cardboard image with some graphics on it. I just threw that in to be the reference image, and I was like, what? I'm getting these crazy background results. So I kind of kept on going with that one, and then I kept on pushing this into this weird stage here as well. So I was getting these also weird results as well, and then kind of kept on pushing it here. Again, I don't even know how it's in these organic forms, but this is really cool. And then again, more just ideation, kind of further concepting here with this. Here's the time lapse with this one. And that just like this one, I was learning how to do the color, the color influences. So I was like just pushing like orange too, you know, whatever. Like it's like orange is my thing with Sketch Pilot. It's like the orange, gray, black palette. So trying to like push that color palette a little bit more. And then so then I just took a different angle. So that it was the same model, reverse angle on that character, and here's the progression on that one. And again, these went totally crazy. I just was like, you know, yeah, like let's keep these like thighs in here and like keep that, you know, the round forms with the planar thighs, and then like, whoa, what's going on here with like this canopy, and just crazy results, and like having fun with the background. I think some of these I was thinking like, you know, I think I typed in like, you know, cyberpunk city at night or something when I was doing the render. That was like totally off, but I'm like, what? Like, where did that come from? You know, it's like I just like I kept on pushing and pulling the refinement stage. So like that, so that was a different. That was also just a still that I shot out of Nomad. So I already had like this kind of like green, bluish, yellow tint to it, and I kind of refined on that one. Actually, you know, it's kind of fun. Let's do this. Let's go back in here. Let's go to it because let me see if I go back to. I'll show you guys another one. We'll just do another one live. Let's do. Let's go to this one. That's another nice thing too. Is like it saves all your progress. You can go back anytime and reiterate. You can export out layered PSD files. You can reiterate down the road. I mean, there's so many here that I didn't even show. So many. And also for those new to the stream, they just announced this today. You can actually now click and drag, and go through and hide all your layers like just like you can do in Photoshop. That was like a big ask for me, and a lot of people were like, because it was like taking a long time to show people how to go through these. Um, let's take this guy, and we'll just do a new one. So we're gonna go. We'll just duplicate it, and it moved it automatically to the top. Okay, cool. So we'll just take this one, and I don't have to do a render if I don't want to, but if I wanted to do, I just want to show you guys. If I do this reference image, oh, I have it in here. So this reference, you can't see it. I don't think when I pop in. Yeah, there it is. So this was just an image I took. I was showing a buddy of mine this one of my Ashley Wood robots, and I just took a picture of it. But I also got like my microphone right in here, so there's some information there, and it's just like, you know, there's a glass with some stuff. It's just like I like, let's just throw it in here and see what I didn't even know what it was going to look like. So right now we have 100% influence on here. So and I just use a prompt space robot, so I'm just going to use it again, and so I got 100% of the reference image and 100% of my drawing. Let's see what we get. And again, if you upgraded to the, I guess their enterprise version, I think it's like $50 a month, which is just a little too expensive for me to justify right now because I'm not using it like every day, but almost every day. But you get like 4 solves versus 1 solve, so I'm fine with the 1 solve for now. I hope they come out with like a kind of a hobbyist creator, you know, version. Indie license. Okay, check that out. So there is, you can kind of see like my desktop a little bit. The idea that there's something up here, but also like, what's it taking from that image? I don't know, but it's sort of like it's trying to like it's lost a couple of this detail in here, right? So let's save it, but we'll add it as a layer in that refine on it. We'll cancel it. We'll do another one, but this time let's say I want 100% drawing influence, but let's do like 50% of that reference image. Now let's try generating that. Yes, EKBK, I agree. This tool is way too much fun, and I'll tell you, man, it's you have to like make sure you have time to play with this. Otherwise, you're gonna like go down the rabbit hole like I am. Interesting. Okay, so it's keeping some of this. It's kind of gotten rid of that little detail on the face, which I wanted to keep more of, but that's kind of interesting right in there. Let's say add as a layer. I'm not going to delete it, but we're going to go back now and try it one more time. And let's try this thing coming down to like 25%. I'm going to go to 20%. Let's see what we get. This is where it gets, from what I understand, they're using, I don't know if it's a variant or if it's a pure version of control.net. I think it's what I've been told. I don't know all the ins and outs of it, but I guess control.net is something that really helps you weight different sources and whatnot. So Oh, that's interesting. Look at that. Wow. That's pretty cool. It kept all my stuff. It didn't change up the feet at all. It's still kind of confused by the hands, but it's enough there that I think it could solve. And then it kind of lost. It kind of lost these little bumpy things, but it's those are good, but those are kind of like a mess. But I can live with that. Let's save that one. Now let's iterate on that. So now here's the thing. I could re-render this if I wanted to. I can say let's drop that. Let's re-render it out as Technicolor, and let's well, in like it says Space Robot. You can see it looks like it's like kind of a thing here. Let's say Space Robot um, on the surface of the moon, and let's see what we get. And we're gonna do now. It's a Vizcom render, so it's gonna probably crush a lot of this detail. But I can try it, and I can try refining with that instead of doing that. So it's you see what I did. Kind of like, it got rid of all that cool outliney stuff, but it kind of did add a cool background here. And it's like if I reiterate on this, I can maybe get a crater or two out of that. Let's save this one, but I'm not going to do it. I want to then take this now, and let's go back to refine now and refine on this instead of re-rendering it out. So now if I say 50% space robot on the surface of the moon, let's see what we get. And I got to go turn the light here. Hold on. Okay, what do we get? Oh, interesting. That's really cool. Wow. Interesting. It's almost too much. Like it's starting to really kind of throw it off, but you're getting some cool results nonetheless. Like it's a kind of a cool canopy helmet there. But you know what? It's a little bit too off from what I want to keep some of these curves. Let's just save it as a layer, and let's cancel. But we'll go take this up to like maybe like let's say like 75%. So what we get. Yeah, digging that. Wow, see how that kind of is still keeping that cool form on the thighs? Look at the lighting right there. And so cool. That is looking really cool. I'm liking what's going on with that. Let's save that, confirm. And again, let's go. You can go back to your layers, and let's compare. Let's turn that one off. Look at that. So again, it's respecting my initial idea with the forms and the volumes, but it's just kind of helped me ideate a little bit. That's so cool. And let's go back now and let's say let's do a space robot, and then we'll say Star Trek. And also, it's the first word is the most important. So let's try. We'll do Star Trek space robot. And now I want to start. I want to see what kind of influence I get with the Star Trek. So I'm going to just take it down to 50%. It's going to probably destroy some of this stuff, but I don't care. I want to see what I get. Because like I feel like you have to go down. You have to lessen your influence to get more of the cool ideas in there, and then go from there. Interesting. Yeah, see, I'm not liking this. It's changed up the hands too much. And this is looking like tires, and yeah, I'm not digging that. Yeah, I'm not really digging that too much. I don't like what it did at all. So, again, there's some kind of cool compartmentalization in here, paneling and stuff, which I like, but yeah, I'm kind of missing that original stuff. So, let's take it back up and see if I can just refine it with that still in there. Cool. That's a little better. It's still kind of retaining some of the stuff I like here. It's not going too crazy with it. Say confirm, and let's do another one on that version. You can see how it's tightened up a little bit. Starting to introduce like this cool little copper outlines around stuff, which I kind of like. Some kind of cool stuff going on in here. Let's do another iteration of that. So you can see you can just keep on refining it, but that's good enough right now for me to like show a client, or I can take this, I can look at this, and I go, I know I can model this now. There's a couple things I would have to figure out how we would do certain pieces. Like this right here is a little bit loosey goosey. There's some stuff in here that doesn't make sense yet, but I could totally model this. I have kind of like a definite blueprint here of how I'd maybe bring this to life. This I probably would change up though. This is like not looking good. This is like a weird, like there's a cool wrist joint there, but this needs to be rethought. This needs to be kind of cleaned up. So I would totally clean up that hand. But yeah, that, I mean, this just kind of goes to show you how quick it is to iterate on that. Let's go back to files. Let me do one more before I call it a night, because I've been talking now for about what, 2 hours and 11 minutes. Let's do one more. We'll do a new one from scratch. I'll just draw again. And let's see, this time I'm just going to draw another character. I'll just draw something. Let's see. I'll do something. Sketch body. I'll do. Say I want to do a character with a big eyeball. And let's maybe just and you know what? Let me make this a little bit smaller, because if you hold on the shift key, it will constrain that. Let's do something there. So try to do something really boxy here. So I can get these forms to stick out a little bit. Let's move this over just a little bit. I want to do, let's do a little funky leg here. It's probably going to fuck up, but let's see. Again, I'm just showing you how sloppy you can be, and then get something out of it. This hand's terrible. This is going to be not good, but let's. I kind of want to see if I can get a weird shoulder thing going on here. Maybe I'll put a little joint there or something. Okay. I'm just going to prove to you all how you don't have to worry about, like, oh, I can't draw. Well, you know, you can just draw something really loose and goose. All right, let's a little bit. And let's say we have to definitely render this one, because I'm not going to get anything out for that. So we'll say marching eyeball robot. And we will go in here and let's do, I'm just going to write into Technicolor 6 because I like that. And we don't want to add, just do that right now. Let's see what we get. Ah, Buzz the Cheerios bee. I actually worked on that commercial years ago. I worked on one of those Cheerios commercials. All right, so as I thought, the legs are totally screwed up here, but guess what? That's interesting, right? Let's save it, and I'm going to try to fix these legs. And let's just do it live. We're going to let's do this. Instead of having a march, let's clean this up. And then let's do, let's do something like this. Really silly. I just want to try to get something in here. Ugh. I wish we had better brush control. I always gotta remember to take the brush down. Let's put a divider there. Let's see if this will get us anything. I'm digging some of this stuff here. That's a cool little division. Like I'm just gonna help it out there and say, okay, let's definitely work on this. Maybe let's do that. I know this might screw it up, but let's see what I get right there. And let's just paint this out. Let's fix this a little bit so I can get that perspective on that to work a little bit better. Yeah, it's pretty sloppy. Let's see if I can just, I don't know, let's try that. Now go to refine. See if I can kind of pull anything out of this. This character is totally off balance. Yeesh. So I'm getting like these weird glows in here now. Don't like that. What if I added extra legs to this character? I don't know if it's going to recognize this or not. Yeah, the eye's getting too realistic here. Let's try taking that down, see what we get. Yeah, this is where I'm starting to roll the dice a little bit, going, okay, I'm gonna see if I can pull something out of this. Let's cancel that. Let me try that. Let's rethink this. Let's not worry about legs. Let's try to extend this a little bit. What do I do here? I also notice sometimes when I do this Technicolor one, I get these weird like cloth backgrounds, and it starts making it like it's like on a bedding or something, which is kind of weird. I get either that, or I get these really cool outdoor environments. Again, I really want to know what has been trained on this render, and I can't wait to start training my own renders. Which also begs the question, what is the AI already at the point where, like, okay, well, whatever model we're using, we're just already using something that's already been pre-trained, or can we? What if I want to make a new AI that was only trained on my stuff, but it still has to have a knowledge of other stuff, right, in order to work. So, does it still know what a robot needs to look like, and in different items, or does it start from scratch, or does it start, or do I just feed it, hey, here's my artwork that I've done over the years, which is majority of whimsical robots, but then I have some other cool organic stuff in here as well, and and some drawings. Like, does like what happens if I just train it on a very limited kind of closed garden of stuff? That's kind of where I thought it'd be kind of cool to start saying, like, show me some patterns of how I see, and like things that I'm already aware of, but who knows, that maybe I can do something different with it. I'm just seeing what I can do here with a crazy idea. And I'm just gonna let's see here. Again, I'm just goofing around. And now this is like the end. I would say this is the end of the stream, so I should probably be calling it an end of the stream soon. But I'm just gonna see what I can get out of this. If I can salvage this and get anything interesting. Probably not, but let's see. I don't like this hand anymore. I don't like either of these hands. Let's just make them clubs. Turn them into something else. So I'm just gonna start painting stuff out. And maybe make them something else. And this is like the first time I actually done a stream where I'm just like, I've seen a lot of my friends do these, like, just watch me work for a couple hours. I guess that's what I'm kind of doing right now. This is turning into one of those, like, let's just kind of shoot the shit and see what I can come up with. Like, not just get too self-conscious about what it's going to look like. And I'm just trying to think off the top of my head what I can make. I wanted to kind of retain this as an opening. Let's get rid of that joint. But you can see how I'm just painting out stuff. Like, I can kind of clean up and guide a little bit here. Let's see. I'm just gonna to find this. Let's see what I get out of this. Who knows? Let's just see what I get. Okay, let's tighten up a little bit. I wanna. Kind of want to maybe like do something like a copy machine. By Xerox. Yeah, let's see what we get. Kind of cool. I'll save that as a layer. Let's re-render it this time with the Vizcom render, and we'll just do that. I don't know why I put this little 4K logo here, but that's kind of interesting. All right, I just got rid of all the color, but I can also reintroduce color. Let's go back over here to the layers, and we can just add some color layers. Let's add like some light blue. I know that I've only got a couple people watching, but I still would love to get into some conversations about, do you guys think this is valid? Does anybody vehemently against this? I'd like to talk a little bit more about that too. I've had a lot of discussions with just friends of mine, but just really trying to see if anybody's opposed to this, thinking that, does anybody feel that their job's in jeopardy, or Are you afraid of it? Are you embracing it? Like I never was afraid of the AI. I just kind of always just roll my eyes when people are like, "Oh yeah, look what I made, look what I created." I'm like, "Yeah, you didn't create anything." You know, like I don't see you using it as a tool. I just see you being lazy and just throwing a prompt in there and seeing what sticks. That to me is not doing anything creative at all. I mean, I'd like to have a dialogue with that if anybody wants to ask any questions or give some opinions on that. I'm just trying to see if I can introduce some color here. So trying to see what happens if I just rerun this now with some color. So that's kind of cool because see now it adds it to the rendering, so you can see I kind of did shade it based on that color, the color stripes I put in there. It's kind of cool. See, now I'm kind of making something out of what was kind of a garbagey sketch. I'm trying to refine it a little bit here. I'm gonna just erase this because I don't know what this stuff is. I'm sorry, not erase it. I wanted to paint over it, and I don't know how to put that down the center there. Let's see. This is kind of a weird shape. But it's like it's falling into the background, so it definitely needs to be something needs to help delineate that form. I should start giving some shout outs to people that I have been following. So one of the main guys, Scott Robertson, who does amazing concept vehicle work, and I've gone to his studio many times years ago to take some cool drawing courses and learning how to draw in Copic markers. And I guess I was made aware that he has been working with these guys for quite a while to help kind of steer the early development of it, and I could tell because the stuff that I've seen the car people creating is pretty amazing. But I wanted to come at it from a like a character design vantage point and see like how I could use this tool to push it in a different direction. I'm really kind of pleased with the results. And some other people I've been following, Ben Rader on Instagram. He's like amazing concept drawings, and he's been getting some amazing stuff. Actually, I think his was the first time when I saw his 2 months ago. I was like, what? It's like, dude, are you using Vizcom? It's like I've kind of been like, I've heard of it, but I haven't really revisited it since like a year and a half. So he got me back into using it. And then Andrew Silk has been also playing around with it too, because he's been using some stuff with his Zootool stuff, his classes, and people that are on the Discord. They're talking a lot about AI, and we've been sharing some results and staying up late at night, showing him some stuff and going back and forth. And it's kind of fun to work together on this kind of stuff. All right, let's see. That's kind of looking interesting. Let's keep on going with this. We're copy machine by Xerox. We're going to get out of that. Cool. I like how sometimes these forms start to turn a little bit on me. That's kind of interesting right there. Let's kind of continue with that. So, I kind of got bored of this right here, but you can see how it kind of went from that to that. All right. So I did use something of a seed to get the idea going, but it kind of like changed along the way. I just noticed how this is kind of off angle a little bit, which is cool. That little neck. I love that. Where did that get introduced? That got introduced. Oops. Was it in this one? Let's see. A little bit, and then it started to pull out right there. Because that what looked like a shadow originally, a cast shadow, then got interpreted as a negative space, and then that got further pushed into like this neck. So you can see how kind of it's weird how it will sort of go into these different directions, and then yeah, just keep on keeping on. Another layer here. I just want to keep on refining this. Make this an opening. Where's my... It would help if my layer was on top. There we go. I like these little color accents. Maybe I'll put a couple color accents. Like right there. Do one over here. Introduce one there. Take that green. Just kind of clean that up a little bit. And we'll refine that. Interesting how it just like took those two blobs, right, and kind of like cleaned those up a little bit. But yeah, I mean, this is no different than like if I was going to sit in Photoshop and try to hand paint the stuff. I'm just kind of like, this is really, you know, I had no idea what this thing was originally going to be because it was just like this goofy drawing that I did. But you know what? Check it out, man. From crappy drawing to that. And just like by like, you know, saying like where could I take it along the way? Like get rid of the feet, maybe come up with something, and then I just kind of morphed it into this. So like, you know, yeah, I could have done this just normally, but the AI just helped me do it a lot quicker. You know, so I'm having to like find reference for a copy machine and look at some other forms and have these happy accidents. The AI just went through it, and you know, I decided to go with some of these weird ideas and just like keep on pushing it, and then see what we get. So it's really interesting. It's like, you know, obviously there's like infinite amount of variation on these. Here's one thing I was talking to like a bunch of friends with mine, and also with the developers. Is like, can you imagine the day when this is so fast that I can sit here and I can actually in real time move this drawing influence slider, and as I'm moving it, the image is going to be updating in real time. That's going to be freaking cool. And then, okay, boom, give me a model of that. And I know there is an AI out there right now that I barely tried it the other day. I think it's called Genie, but it's kind of gives you kind of a mush of a mess with some texture on it. But we all know it's going to get there. We all know there's going to be a time where it's like, you know, and I touched on this at the beginning of the stream, was that, you know, it's going to know that this is a sphere and this is a cylinder, and it should be able to model that stuff. It should be able to respect that, especially when I use a 3D model as the basis for the ideation, which you can do. For those who are still watching or are new, if you go in here, if you go into add 3D layer, you can add models like this. These are some of the sculpts that this is another goofy sculpt I did. Actually, you know what? Let's try that. We'll make a new one. Let's save this. Let's go back to files. We'll save that one, and we'll make a new file. And we'll do one more, and then I'll call it a night, because I've been talking for like 2.5 hours now. So let's just do this. We'll create a new one here. We will go into the layer, add. I think these are the same. Were these the same model? Yeah, I think I just was like testing these from the iPad to make sure they came over okay. Like right now, I don't have any. I can have no control over lighting on this. I just it's coming in with a default light, and I can't even. Can I? Like if I use the mouse to zoom in and out, and then rotate, so I can sort of get something. Let's try doing. Let's do a We'll do some let's do some symmetrical. Yeah, that's pretty cool right there. Let's do it 3/4. Like I want to be able to change my field of view on this, but I can't. Let's make it. Apparently, if you make it as large as you can on the canvas, it works a little bit better too. So let's try that. And all of a sudden, I'm hoping that like this is where I want a smudge tool, so I can quickly just clean out some of this weird polygon shading. But let's just try to go with it. So we'll see what we get. So I'm just gonna merge these down. I don't care about that being a transparent layer. So I've already got shading information, but let's I want to render it nonetheless because I want to get some color in there. So let's do this. We'll call this a let's call it metallic robot head. See if I get anything out of that. Interesting. It's starting to try to clean this up a little bit. And it's adding some detail in here, which I'm not too happy about. But you know what? Let's cancel it. Let's go into refine mode and see what I can get from this. Let's just refine it first. That's what we get, because I already have some shading information in here. So right there, it's started adding an indication of an eye. And I've got those lips already defined and sort of kind of cleaning this up a little bit. Let's cancel and try a little bit higher first for the first refine. Alright, that kind of cleaned up a little bit better. Now let me kind of go back down a little bit and then start refining because I kind of want to keep some of those shapes. That's interesting. It's adding a little mechanical detail here. Let's hit confirm. Let's go and say metallic bronze. And then here, just to show you guys again, if who are still watching, we'll go Star Wars. And then we'll take this down a little bit. Let's see what we get. Whoop. Dropping it below 50. It's going to start introducing a little bit more. Yeah, see, they got too much. Cancel that. Let's take it like 55. I don't want it to be too Star Warsy. I just want it to be a little bit Star Warsy. Interesting what's doing with the face right there. I kind of like that. I'm not digging the eyes at all. Got to kind of clean up those eyes. And let's confirm and paint. So I'm just going to paint right on top of this. Let's go here. I'm going to, because now I'm kind of getting this really cool silhouette here. So I'm going to paint that out. And then let's clean up a little bit down here. And the mouth, corner of the mouth. And let me see here. These eyes, I got to do something with these eyes because they're ugly. Let's try to fill them in and get rid of that black for starters. And then I wonder if I put like a little indication of something like some color. It's like hot red or something. Just to see if I can get some weird. Actually, you know, I don't. That's too high up. Let me just do that a little bit. I don't know if that's gonna. I'm just trying to see if that will influence anything. Interesting. Kind of gave me a little filled in pattern there. There's some kind of cool stuff going on here with these panels now. Too much on that. Let me save the layer, but I'm not gonna iterate on that one. Let's take out those ugly crosses and let's just put in. Let me do something. And then let's put a. Let me see if a hot blue glow in there would work. Let's see if these color highlights will affect anything. Interesting. I like how it did that nostril right there. That's kind of cool. It's like an inverted nostril. Didn't keep the color there, but I kept the color there. Let's keep that. And let's, I like that. Let's continue refining, but a little higher up. So, that's, yeah. I like the nose before though. That I love that nose. That got a little too, I'm not digging that. Let's not do that one. Let's go a little bit higher. I want to keep that nose. There you go. That's cool. Just kind of refine it a little bit. Confirm. Let's also get rid of this. Let's now do copper robot head. See if that'll introduce. There's a little copper coming through, but I wanted to see if I can influence the whole. Let's do it one more time. Let's try yellow. I'm sorry, I have to go color, yellow, and then semicolon. We'll go 2. Let's see if that does anything. That's weird. I kind of mushed up the details a little bit. Let's take off head. Let's keep that, and let's take off copper. Yeah, it's kind of creeping into that too much. Let's do this. Let's want to re-render this with Technicolor. I'll call this see what we get here. Oh, that's crazy. Interesting. I totally destroyed the nose, but I can always draw that back in later. Oh, that's kind of cool with the chin there. Look at that. Let's continue on with this one. So we go. See, then this is one of the things where I'm like, okay, happy accidents. Like I'm trying to guide it, but it's not doing exactly what I want, but it's doing something interesting. So maybe go down this road. Like, okay, that's kind of cool. I'm loving that, the chin and that idea of like a upper lip with maybe the teeth. That's kind of cool. It's kind of showing me some interesting forms, but I can't help wonder if this is, where's that coming from? I mean, let's look at my original drawing, or I'm sorry, not my drawing, but my base model. So we went from there to like there, and we actually went more to like that, to that, to that. Yeah, it's getting a little too geary and stuff around here, but yeah, you can see how, you can start playing around with this and, take this into Photoshop and start moving the proportions around. I actually did that with, I haven't posted this one yet. I'll show you guys a little, show one that I was playing around with a couple weeks ago. One of the car models, I was like, I wanted to try to do a stylized car. Where is it at? Where is that car at? Right here. This was a fun one. So I was like, I wanted to do a whole series of like cartoon muscle cars. I don't know if any of you read like cartoon magazine when you were a kid and stuff like that, but I used to do all these like car drawings. So this one here, again, this is one of those really weird ones where I have to take it all the way down to like, you're gonna be surprised where this came, how this came from. This one was really, really crazy. And when you see my original drawing, you're like, what? Okay, so if I take this all the way down, this drawing was crap. It was just me being silly. Like I was just being lazy, and I was like, okay, let me see. This is, I just did this drawing in the interface, right? This is this image right here. I was like, okay, let's just goof around with this for a little bit. Did a render, started to refine it. It's looking like crap. I just want to see if I can keep this like this duckbill shape. I was just trying to see what I can get. Getting bored with it. Oh yeah, I can do a paint over and clean it up like that. Yeah, okay. Then it's like, but no, what? Let me go back to this original one again. Let me see what I can get from this one. Do another render of it. Again, getting some weird introductions here of this back of the car. Not happy with this at all. Did another one. You know, you can see my painting right there. I'm just painting on it, like to try to guide it a little bit. You know, again, like I'm just exploring. I'm just like trying to see like what I can do. I can do with it. Then I started adding the Vizcom. I'm sorry, the techno render. I was getting these cool backgrounds, like, and then it's like changing some colors. And then right after I did this one, I was like looking at this color, going, "Oh my god, it just reminds me of like a Dodge Challenger, like that front." I was like, "Oh man, I could probably pull in a Dodge Challenger." So then I started going. At first, I started going sleek muscle car. So once I did that, I was like, "Okay, there you go. There's a Challenger, almost Chevelle type of look." And then I was like, "Okay, these are getting, you know, they're, you can kind of see what's going on with this one." Then I took it into Photoshop and I just did an image warp. I'm like, you know what? Let me just try to do a natural curve, how I saw this was going, and see if I can like really push it. But of course, I didn't fix the background. I just like threw this back in, and I started trying to do like the first solve. I was like, oh, interesting, cool. Let me see if I can refine. I'm like, fuck yeah, GTO almost. You know, it's like, look at that. That thing's coming along great. And then I'm like, okay, I got to get rid of this background. So there's got to be a better way to extract a background in here. So I took it back to Photoshop, try to get rid of the background, re-rendered it again. I mean, come on, keeping that cartoony look and feel to it. I mean, that was fun right there. I love this one right here. And then back again to this, and I think I went back to the background. I'm like, I wasn't too happy with. Like, I should continue on with this one, but then I was like going back to this one. Like, let me see if I can do anything with this. Nothing good. Again, trying to keep that bright yellow saturated color in there. But you can see I'm just kind of going through. I'm just experimenting. I tried painting out the background and tried re-rendering this background. But I think my favorite of this whole series. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. Just change my order on. My favorite of the series is right down here. Where is it at? Like these. Yeah, like. Yeah, this right here. These are getting really cool. And again, just goofing around. You know, look at that. Just got that kind of like just a stylized curve in there. Just trying to get that cartoony flow. And again, I love that, like that Vizcom, the Technicolor render of this one. Like I reran it through to keep it to kind of crush the details, and I like that. Just kind of keep it really concept-y looking, not too detailed. I mean, that looks like an illustration right there. All right, I'm gonna call it a quit just because it's been almost 3 hours. And I know that like most of you, some of you will be like, okay, I'm just gonna watch this down the road because like I have done and watched people's 3 hour streams when I have some time late at night. I'll just have it on the background. So, just to wrap up, I hope you see how powerful this could be used as a tool. Again, it's not a replacement. You know, it's not going to make you a better quote unquote artist. You know, you're not going to be able to like create stuff out of the blue, and you know, you still have to have a discerning eye. You kind of still have to kind of direction of what you might want. You have to like be able to guide it. You have to like, you know, you're going to use all your, you know, all the tools that you've learned, you know, all your color theory and drawing skills, and you know, you're just going to kind of push it, but use it as an assistant. You know, it's like, don't let it do the creation for you. Guide it into what you want it to be. That's how I think AI is going to be used on the road. I haven't talked to too many of my concept art friends about this yet. Some of I mean, I have some friends who are like, just like, they're fucking beasts. beast mode when they concept stuff, and it's like they don't need AI, they don't need it at all. But it would be kind of interesting to see if they wanted to maybe take their stuff and put it in and see if they can they would ideate on that. It would be kind of crazy to see kind of what kind of results they got. But like I mentioned earlier, I would love to more so train on my own work and try to reveal maybe hidden patterns and things that or there may be too obvious I see all the time, but I don't acknowledge it. Maybe like, oh yeah, I've always kind of used this color palette, or I've always drawn this joint this way or whatever, and it'd be kind of cool to see how the AI can maybe help me see different things than what I'm already doing. But this is no different than photo collaging, kit bashing, taking a client brief and saying, okay, I got to do this, and then going out and going to Pinterest, saving a bunch of images to my mood boards, doing a bunch of sketches before I even try to do a color render. I've done this stuff for many years where it's like, yeah, I go down that path, but with this, I feel like I can crank out ideas quicker, but still kind of informing how I want to, what I want to try to present to the client based on whatever brief I get. I think it's, it's just a different way to ideate, and it might get you quicker results. But again, it's not supposed to be a replacement. It's not going to replace me. It's not, I don't feel like my job's in jeopardy. I haven't lost a job to anyone doing AI. Someone's still going to go. They're still going to go to you for your, if you have return clients, which I do, they like my style. They like my take on it. It's like, okay, so, and like I said, on this one job I did employ just a small smidgen of AI. And I told them I did, and they were like, "Oh, that's pretty cool." It was this little thing here. This is a work in progress, but I just basically took this little shape, which was a simple geometry, which was this right here, and I just wanted to. I said, let me come up with some like cool, cut lines and panels and stuff, because I didn't have time to go through and find what I wanted, or I didn't know what I wanted right away. I was like, let me just kind of try to, I'm in this other job, and I had like step aside and do this one really quick. I'm like, okay, so my brain's thinking like something else right now, but let me see how I can quickly ideate on this one. So just being able to kind of go in and throw in a couple, just throw a couple key prompts in there to see if I can get something out of it. And like this right here is all I needed was just a little bit of break up that form. Like I have no qualms presenting this, and like when I build this, I'm going to build it. It won't be exactly this. It'll be in the with as a inspiration of this. I'm not gonna copy this one to one, but there's like things in here that like some of these panels that are cut, this little detail here I like. There's a couple things I'm going to use. Like I don't like the feet at all, but I can definitely use some of this idea. And it's based on my original concept, my original render, and my perspective that I wanted to try to ideate this on. It's like I did it. So as long as you're controlling your stuff from the get-go, I have no qualms with like using it as an assistant at all. This is how you should use it. Just don't use it as a crutch or as the end all to be all. Just use it as an aid. So that's my mini rant. I would kind of have to have a conversation with other of my peers about this, because I was really harsh on some of my buddies who were like down this other hole of like prompt. Look what I created. Prompt. Look what I created. I'm like, no, you didn't create anything. This to me is more creation. And it's like it's guiding your original creation, your original concepts. To me, that's what's important. I'm not interested in seeing a film made by AI. I'm not interested in, this whole 90% of animations can be replaced by AI. That's kind of a crock. I don't believe it. And these like look, we're gonna make a true AI film. I'm like, ugh, I don't want to see it. It's just regurgitated garbage. I want to see creativity. I don't want to see rehashed crap. But I guess one person's crap might be someone else's, gold. Whatever. Anyhow, I'm going to start rambling now. But let's just call it quits. It's almost 6. So I've been doing this for 3 hours. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Please drop some comments in for me. And let me know if you want to see more of this kind of stuff, because I would love to do more of these. I honestly didn't know this was going to go 3 hours, but I've had fun. I just wanted to do a bunch of cool stuff. So I hope you guys had fun watching it, and I will definitely do more. So thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you guys later.